You're watching Jax PBS More, WJCT, Jacksonville.
I just know you need them the day before, so.
Anytime is fine. 5 would be great.
Hi, you look so lovely.
We're live.
I'll work it out.
Yes, yes.
That's the only one. It was begins with a P.
Panda?
I had a conversation with Charlotte. She's like going to church. Charlotte puts on her counselor hat.
No, it's not. Jesus loved it.
It's like just a little talk with Jesus going.
It's always good to have you.
The school board of the Duval County School District is now convened in its regular monthly meeting. To everyone present and to our television viewers, I wish to extend you all a warm welcome to the meeting of the Duval County School Board. The vision statement of the Duval County School Board states, "Every student is inspired and prepared for success in college or a career and life." The mission statement of the Duval County School District is to provide educational excellence in every school, in every classroom, for every student, every day. The Duval County School Board is here tonight to listen to reports from district staff and to set policy for the district that will improve student achievement. We will also address budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and other business items that require a vote of the board. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. It is not the role of the board to make managerial or operational decisions. The board has policies and procedures in place to assist the superintendent in resolving management and operational issues. If items appear to move quickly, it is because the board meets in an agenda committee meeting prior to the board meeting for an in-depth review of all agenda items. The committee meeting for the December 7th, 2021 school board meeting will be held on November 16th, 2021 at 9 a.m., and the public is invited to attend. As a show of courtesy and respect to each other, we ask that all mobile phones be turned off and that no flash photography be used during the meeting. For those wishing to address the board during our public comments portion of the board meeting, please note that we will accept speaker cards until 6:20 p.m. The CDC currently recommends that everyone 2 years of age or older who is not fully vaccinated should wear a mask while indoor public spaces. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening and for your interest in the operation of the Duval County School District. Board members, I invite you to stand for a moment of silence and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll begin with our presentations this evening. First, we have our principal from Landmark Middle School, Dr. Cicely Tyson-White. Thank you for joining us, Dr. White.
students here at Landmark Middle School are fun, they're intelligent, they love to learn, they love to come to school and teach us in many different ways.
Our teachers here are motivated, they're happy, they're successful, and they deliver that attitude to every classroom I've walked into and every classroom I've been a part of.
The best part of my job is definitely seeing my students learn and grow from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, and just seeing that growth throughout the year, especially when the light bulb comes on and I see that moment where they get it.
The best part of my job are my children. A lot of people say students, but these are my kids. They're in my care, the parents entrust us to teach them, so learning from them while teaching them is the best part. I teach and inspire my students by appreciating their own uniqueness. Each student learns in a different way, so by pushing and promoting them to learn in the way that best helps them, makes them feel more comfortable.
If a parent asked me if they should enroll their student at Landmark, I would definitely say yes. We have everything to offer, from athletics to Honors Academy courses, clubs, and we just overall are a big family, and it has such a warm and nurturing environment.
Landmark Middle School, where amazing students make their mark. Contact us to learn more or enroll.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tyson White. Welcome.
Thank you. I just wanted to say on behalf of the entire Seahawk family, thank you so much to our board member, Ms. Anderson, and our region superintendent for the opportunity to be highlighted tonight. We would invite everyone to follow the yellow brick road to the nest. We got that. We have everything that anyone could look for in a public school. We have a wide variety of ESC programs, students who are DHH, we have gifted, we have honors, we have a competitive athletic program, and we are just so excited about the opportunity to be highlighted tonight. So make your way. There's no place like Landmark.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tyson White. I had the opportunity to go and visit Landmark just maybe it's been a couple months ago at this point. And I was so impressed with your energy and willingness to make sure that your school community was serving kids and families, and that everybody was willing and able to wrap their arms around children and make sure that their academic experience and their social experience and their emotional experience was rich. And so thank you for that. I want to give a quick shout out to Ms. Sharp, Mr. Danner, and Ms. Collier, and Officer Stanley, who I had the opportunity to pop in their classrooms and chat with while I was at Landmark. And I will tell you, the teamwork that was going on there, when you walk into a teacher's classroom and they want to share with you how their colleagues are working together to just make it happen, especially when times are tough, was heartwarming and impressive. So thank you for leading the Seahawk family, and go Landmark.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have FSBA Master Board. We'll welcome April Griffin from our Florida School Boards Association.
Bringing my purse so we can get a picture. Not that I need my purse, but my camera's in there. My name is April Griffin. Good evening. It is my pleasure to be here on behalf of the Florida School Boards Association to give you congratulations and a plaque signaling that you have recertified your board and your governance team, which is the superintendent and the board, as a master board according to the Florida School Boards Association. We know research shows that an effective school governance leadership team causes a rise in student achievement and a positive district culture. So you've begun the work and you've shown your staff and everyone in your county that you believe that professional development and leadership development is very important. So congratulations. I have a plaque to give you. And do y'all want to come down and get your picture taken?
We sure will. Thank you so much. Right here. Some photo ops.
and I'll stand right here. Then it's like I'm handing it to you. Okay. This is the hardest part of the meeting. I hope to see you all in a few weeks at the conference. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ms. Griffin. I do want to say a thank you to the board as well for participating in the Master Board trainings. It's a series of workshops that the board goes through for several hours, whole days, sometimes, in order to get this professional development and training that earns the recognition of a Master Board from the Florida School Boards Association. So the integrity, the honesty, the commitment that this board has to working together in service to our community, in service to students in this district is admirable. So thank you, fellow board members. Thank you, Ms. Griffin and the Florida School Boards Association for offering the training. If any board members have anything to say about the Master Board, you're welcome to share any thoughts or comments. I don't mean to put you on the spot with this one. Thank you so much. Ms. Collins, I think you have some proclamations for us.
I do. I'm going to read them now. Duval County Public School Board proclamation for National School Psychology Week. Whereas children and youth learn best when they are healthy, supported, and receive an education that enables them to thrive academically, socially, and emotionally, and whereas school can more effectively ensure that all students are able to learn when they meet the needs of the whole child and provide integrated, multi-tiered supports, and whereas children's mental health is directly linked to their learning and development, and the learning environment provides an optimal context for to promote good mental health through connectedness within the school and the community, and whereas sound psychological principles are integral to instruction and learning, school safety, social and emotional development, prevention, early intervention, and support of culturally diverse student populations, and whereas school psychology has more than 60 years of well-established, widely recognized, and highly effective practice and standards that are clearly articulated in the National Association of School Psychologists model for comprehensive and integrated school psychological services. And whereas school psychologists are especially trained to foster and deliver in school and community a continuum of mental health services and academic supports that lower barriers to teaching and learning. And whereas school psychologists help children thrive by nurturing their individual strengths across both personal and academic endeavors. And whereas school psychologists are trained to assess student and school-based barriers to learning and individual strengths, utilize database decision-making, implement research-driven prevention and intervention strategies, and evaluate outcomes and improve accountability. And whereas Duval County, Florida, should recognize the vital role that school psychologists play in the personal and academic development of Jacksonville's children, therefore we, the school board members and the superintendent of Duval County Schools, do hereby proclaim November 8th through 12th as School Psychology Week in Duval County, Florida, and commend observance to all citizens, signed and presented on this day, 2nd day of November 2021. Join us to commemorate the reading of this proclamation are several DCPS school psychologists, EESS department leadership, and also board members of the Northeast Association of School Psychologists. Please help us commemorate National School Psychology Week.
Ms. Collins, are they coming forward or just standing?
I think they're coming forward for a picture.
While you all are coming forward, I just want to say thank you so much for the work that you do. National School Psychology Week is being recognized November 8th through the 12th. And we are so grateful for your work, your dedication to students, and for your gifts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Whatever you're comfortable with. There are a lot of roles in our schools taking care of the whole child and students' psychological and emotional needs, and school psychologists play such an integral role there. So thank you for all the work that you do. Board members, do you have any comments you'd like to make for National School Psychology Week? Okay. We do have another proclamation this evening.
A proclamation recognizing Leon Baxton on the occasion of his 30 years of service to children of Jacksonville through communities and schools. Whereas Leon Baxton began serving the children of Duval County Public Schools as a member of Cities and Schools in October 1991, performing his duties with dedication and distinction, and whereas Leon Baxton has risen through the ranks of communities and schools until his promotion to Chief Executive Officer, and is truly able to lead through example, and whereas these years of service have been marked by exemplary and energetic leadership in the vital accomplishments of this district, and whereas under the leadership of Leon Baxton, Communities and Schools was a vital partner throughout the pandemic, filling the needs of our students and of their families, and whereas the members of the board, district administration, and the many schools throughout the district wish to extend their deep appreciation to Leon Baxton for his consistency and strong support of the district through his 30 years of service. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the superintendent of schools and the chairman of the school board that Leon Baxton be commended for his 30 years of commitment to our students, as well as his outstanding efforts in support of Duval County Public Schools. And we express our appreciation for his leadership and dedication to the children of Jacksonville, Florida, signed and presented on this second day of November, 2021. In light of his service to the communities and schools and to the district, Dr. Green is presenting Mr. Baxton with a Superintendent's Coin of Excellence. Please help us honor Mr. Baxton for his service and commitment.
Thank you so much, Mr. Baxton. And I know that there are some board members that certainly have some comments to make. We'll start with Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to let Mr. Baxton know that we really appreciate his many years of service to this community and particularly to our students. On a personal note, I coached a young student who was involved in Cities in Schools when it was called Cities in Schools. And he told me several times, had it not been for that organization, he would not have graduated high school, he would not have gone to college, and he graduated from JU, and he's now in the military, probably 10 years now. And so I just know personally that one story of a young man who had a family, but the father was on drugs. I think they lost a home, but he was able to persevere because of the support he received from Cities in Schools at that time. So thank you, Mr. Baxton. And he was there then. That was 28 years ago. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Coker.
I just want to congratulate you on 3 decades of service. I have had the privilege of walking classrooms and hallways and looking at programs side by side with you over the years. Having known you for a good number of those decades, I'm not going to admit to how many. You are just a blessing to our community. Our schools are a better place for children as a result of your leadership, your efforts. You have been the heart and soul of Communities and Schools for years. And to see you lead that organization and to do the great work you do. Again, you're just a blessing, and I am just grateful you do what you do in our city.
Board Member Hershey.
So Communities and Schools is dear to my heart. I had the opportunity to work with Leon when I was there. And, you know, Communities and Schools, I know the slogan used to be helping students choose success. And your story is inspirational because you are a living example of the difference that the positive role models make in the lives of children. And you are a living example that no matter where we come from, there is hope for a better life with organizations like Communities and Schools, and I applaud your success, and thank you for your commitment to Jacksonville, the children of Jacksonville.
Board Member Joyce.
Yes. When I was a teacher at Joseph Stillwell, we were at the beginning a turnaround school, and Communities and Schools came in and partnered with our school. Mr. Baxton came and always there in the door all the time, smile on his face. The difference was that you know he loves children. He genuinely loves children, and he wants to do better by them. And so that program was just so near and dear to my heart. It still is. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for your dedication to your service, but especially for your love for the children.
Still there.
Yes.
Thank you. Board Member Pearson, and then Vice Chairman Whitley.
Sure. Mr. Baxton, thank you for your service and for the impact that you've had on our city.
30 years. I haven't had owned many things or done anything for 30 years straight. So I just commend your commitment, your steadfast approach to what you do. I love your Southern hospitality, but you bring that Northern swag, that New York swag with you every time. And I always say that our kids deserve great people and great leaders, and we deserve you, and folks deserve to have you in our lives. So I'm just so appreciative. And the one thing that I love about you, too, is you're so humble. Like, you would never know all the things that you've accomplished and you've put into the work that you do. So I just really appreciate it. You're somebody that I look up to in this community. So I know you were surprised tonight, but it is no surprise to me that you should be getting this honor.
Yes. Because
we're just so grateful that you're here and around for our students and our children here in Duval County. So thank you so much for your 30 years and the next 30 years as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Baxton. The work that people know falls to our school systems to help educate children and raise children when they're not in the care of their families is a heavy lift. And we could not do that work without partners like you, like Communities and Schools, in and out of our schools every day, helping serve our community and helping serve our children. So thank you so much for the work you do, for your dedication and commitment to Duval County Public Schools and our kids and families. We appreciate all you do. Surprise and congratulations.
Big surprise.
All right, I think we have a few more recognitions. Ms. Collins.
November is Florida's Parent Engagement in Education Month, making it the perfect time to recognize 7 parents who have not only distinguished themselves as leaders, but who are also supporting the success of our students. We're celebrating Parent Academy's newest parent leaders, a unique group of caregivers, community members, and parents who have committed themselves to learning, growing, and supporting this initiative. If you didn't already know, the Parent Academy is a free family resource. A wide variety of courses are offered live and virtually with topics that fall under student achievement, parenting and advocacy, or personal and individual growth. Recordings of most course offerings can also be found online any time of day or night on their website, which is duvalschools.org/parentacademy, or on their YouTube channel. To become a parent leader, these individuals had to complete at least 6 Parent Academy courses, demonstrate leadership, and commit to support Duval County Public Schools Parent Academy. With this new designation, these parent leaders are now our advocates. They can facilitate and monitor courses, engage the community in district events, network with various groups, and much more, all to ensure that as many people as possible know the value of the Parent Academy. By the way, it's worth mentioning that this past school year, the Parent Academy had an all-time high attendance rate of over 12,000 participants. Joining us from the Department of Family and Community Engagement to celebrate these new parent leaders and to present them with pins are Parent Academy Supervisor Reagan Copeland, Parent Academy Specialist Ashley Vandenmyracker, and Kristen Rakelme. Our new parent leaders are Manjula Chandran, Fani Kumar Velagapudi, Daljit Kaur, Mahek Gupta, Kamlash Jethalawani, and Paula Arin, who couldn't be with us tonight, and Jonathan Rakelme, who is also unable to join us tonight. But please congratulate us, these Parent Academy leaders, and their commitment to Duval, and I'm sorry for butchering your names. She's been described as an upstander and not a bystander, influential, and a person who regularly impacts lives. We now wish to recognize Supervisor of K-12 Social Studies, Erin Conklin, the recipient of this year's Harry T. Moore Teaching for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties Award. This honor is given by the Florida Council of Social Studies, or the FCSS. The purpose is to, and I quote, recognize and celebrate a Florida teacher who encourages an appreciation and respect for civil rights and civil liberties as demonstrated by the example set by Harry T. Moore, who is an activist and martyr of the civil rights movement. Conklin's work with the district spans 13 years, with work as a social studies teacher, a specialist, and even as a region assistant principal. Among her many contributions include expanding African American history coursework in the district. This includes creating a one-of-a-kind customized text, as well as also expanding professional development for teachers. Knowing that social studies and civics can lead to difficult conversations, Conklin has also worked hard to help teachers better engage with students by offering training with lawyers and judges. The president of the FCSS says this about Conklin. Our awardee has spent countless hours in her classroom impacting the lives of students, stretching their thinking and empowering them to become active citizens who will positively impact our world. In her role as a social studies leader, she encourages diversity and tolerance and has helped establish safe spaces for her teachers to help their students discuss controversial issues. She goes above and beyond for her district students in making sure they know how to take their proper place in our civil society. Conklin says about being nominated for and earning the award that it was a complete surprise. When it's all said and done, she said, her goal is always for Duval County Social Studies to be better than when she took her position. Tonight, Dr. Green is also presenting Ms. Conklin with the Superintendent Coin of Excellence. Please help us congratulate Ms. Conklin. Their inspiration, a doctor, a public servant, and a grandfather. Their prize, winning the district's Hispanic Heritage Essay Contest. Tonight, we're pleased to honor 3 students who set out to honor local Hispanic Americans and succeeded. They are Grace Gonzalez of Pine Forest Elementary, who is with us this evening, and Riley Harris of Landon Middle, and Avi Patel of Stanton College Prep, who both could not be with us this evening. Through this annual contest hosted by the district's ESOL department, students are given the opportunity to celebrate their heroes. For Grace Gonzalez, that person was her grandfather, Wilfredo Gonzalez. In this essay titled My Papa, My Hero, the 5th grader wrote about his legacy of selflessness, selflessly helping others through his work as a director in the Peace Corps, a district director of the Small Business Administration, and most importantly as a volunteer. Sixth grader Riley Harris chose to write about Dr. Danny Pulido, a local doctor specializing in pulmonary and critical care. Harris calls him a hero, highlighting his character traits like honesty, devotion, and his ability to work with others. Ms. Patel's inspiration was St. Elmo William Acosta, the driving force and namesake behind the Acosta Bridge, and a former city councilman. According to the senior, Acosta's progressive reforms greatly increased public safety and transportation in Jacksonville, and his impact is still felt today with motorists. Each of these students was honored with a special ceremony at the Cummer Museum last month, and they also received special prizes from the Jaguars Foundation, sponsor of this year's contest. Joining these students tonight is the Director of ESOL World Language and Dual Language, Ingrid Carius, and Principal Michelle Matthews and teacher Sarah Momberg. Please join us in congratulating all three of these winners of the Hispanic Heritage Essay Contest. They said it just didn't feel right to stand and do nothing. For our final presentation, we wish to honor 3 district painters whose generosity impacted dozens of students at Garden City Elementary School. To learn more about their act of kindness, we ask you to turn your attention to this video.
And that was a great feeling, just so that we could help them.
Wherever I go, if somebody needs help, I'm going to help. Just feels good to help them out a little bit.
Here at Garden City, we like to do Fun Fridays sometimes, and so this was our first Fun Friday of the year, where we have the Kona Ice truck come out, and a lot of parents called in and sent money, either sent money with somebody or brought money on the day of. Unfortunately, there were quite a few kids who weren't able to bring cash on that day.
We just noticed that there was an icy truck out here for the kids, and we noticed that not all the kids was coming in line from the lunchroom, and I don't know, we just didn't feel right. Some kids get something, some kids didn't. I got to thinking, I said, I got some money, so I'm gonna go to the teacher and ask her, did that? And she said, yes. She said, some of us got money, some of them don't. I said, well, we're gonna get together and take care of the ones that don't.
I actually went into my office to see kind of what I could grab for myself, what I had in my purse. And as I came back out, the teacher said to me, oh, don't worry about it, the painters are taking care of it. And I said, well, what do you mean? And they said, oh, the painters came by, asked us how many kids didn't have money, and they gave us money for those kids.
Well, I was fortunate to work through the pandemic, and a lot of parents weren't fortunate. They had to stay home with the kids. And so if I could do something good to help the kids, then I was going to help.
It's not the kids' fault that they didn't have no money, so we just wanted to do something good for the kids. Well, some kids ain't as fortunate as others. And, they need help. The parents may not have been working. And I'm that type of person, I'm going to help.
What it means to me is that they are a part of our Garden City family, and they're not just here to work and to paint the school. They're here to make the lives better for children. That speaks a lot to the kids, especially in this community, to know that adults, not just their teachers, not just their principal, not just their AP, but the adults in this community really care about them and want them to do well and succeed.
Mr. Hardesty, will you come on over? Thank you. Garden City Principal Ashley Cannington estimates that they helped about 100 students. To show their appreciation for their generosity, Garden City teachers ended up coming together and purchasing lunch for the men. We're thrilled to have Robert here. Tom Horn and Michael Jowers could not be with us tonight. They're here along with Principal Cannington and Assistant Principal Georgette Jones, and Dr. Green is also presenting these men with a Superintendent's Coin of Excellence. Please help us thank these 3 men one more time.
Can we see that on News4Jax?
Thank you. This
Positively
concludes-
News4Jax too?
Yes.
That looks like a good story,
And
Dr.
a
Pierce.
great production. That was a beautiful piece.
Yeah.
This concludes our presentations for the evening.
Thank you so much, Ms. Collins. We have a lot to celebrate tonight. I am excited to honor and recognize all of the great work happening in our Duval County Public Schools. Moving on to the approval of the November 2nd, 2021 agenda. That the Duval County School Board approve the November 2nd, 2021 agenda as submitted on October 26, 2021 with the following changes. Approval of minutes, item amended, and board member travel, item amended. I ask for a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Board Member Coker, seconded by
Board
Board
Chair.
Member Jones. Is there any discussion?
Can't hear her.
Can't hear you.
Oh, mine's off.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
Light is on. Testing. Testing, 1, 2. Can you hear me now?
He said give it just a moment.
It's like a T-Mobile commercial.
Can you hear me now?
I think that was Verizon.
Was it Verizon? Aha, hello, welcome back. Okay, that the Duval County School Board approved the November 2nd, 2021 agenda as submitted on October 26, 2021 with the following changes. Approval of minutes, item amended, board member travel, item amended. We had a second by Board Member Coker, first by Board Member Coker and a second by Board Member Jones. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I call for your vote.
Board Member Hershey, please log in for me.
I need you to log in.
Are you logged in? Yeah. Are you logged out of the last meeting?
Did I not? It's up. Oh, it says join meeting. Present voting. My screen was up, so. Okay.
By your action, you have approved our agenda this evening, 7-0. Okay. Next up, we have my chair report. I'm going to take the liberty this evening to go over all that we have accomplished for the last year. Many of you may not know that as a governing body, we reorganize in the month of November. So this board will be having conversations about chair and vice chair this month, and it will be my last time getting to sit in this seat at the dais for you all. And so we've had a lot of work, and we've had taken care of some heavy lifts. I think one of the crowning jewels that I want to make sure we have an opportunity to highlight is Achieve 26. This board worked really hard on our strategic plan this year. And this is a 5-year strategic plan. So if you have not had an opportunity to check it out, you can find that online on our website. And I'm really excited about a dashboard that should be coming soon, I hope. I don't know, no pressure, but you should be able to find it under strategic planning in the departments of the duvalschools.org website, excuse me, to learn more about our strategic plan. But we've got great things coming. We were able to engage in some really rich dialogue, and that's my favorite part, is talking about kids and student achievement with my board members. So we're excited about that work. We also kicked off the half-penny referendum. It was just 1 year ago that we were able to pass the half-penny and we've got some great projects in the works, more than $770 million worth of projects that our operations and facilities team are working on implementing in our schools all across Duval County. More than 229 projects with all different types of projects. So you will see this if you haven't already seen it in your schools. It will be coming to a school near you. I'm excited to be seeing your Half Penny at Work logos coming up all over Duval County. A big piece of that was launching the Sales Surtax Oversight Committee. When I came into the chairmanship, this is where we were. We were excited about the half penny passing, and we were ready to get the Oversight Committee meeting and asking tough questions and making sure that as a community we all knew what's happening with your pennies. So I am grateful to all of the members of the Oversight Committee that have come together, that have been meeting more than anticipated, but doing great work. The next Oversight Committee meeting is November 17th, if you're interested or want to check that out. They're meeting over at the Schultz Center. But the committee has come together. Their chair, Mr. Hank Rogers, is doing fantastic work, and we're looking forward to being able to bring in some of our charter partners and have some conversations with them too, so that the community is fully aware of how all of your half penny sales surtax dollars are being put to use for our kids. We certainly can't skip another monumental task. I think this took us well into the spring and the early part of the summer. We were very grateful to our community partners and to the community that helped us raise over $220,000 private dollars to help rename 6 schools in Duval County Public Schools. This was a big lift and a lot of work. I think our community engaged in some really tough dialogue that's so important for us to be able to hear one another and continue to move forward as a community and as a school district. So I'm proud of the work that we did together as a board and as a community to get these schools renamed. And I want to certainly shout out to the Jacksonville Public Education Fund in their support helping us raise some of these dollars, and to many, many, many community partners across Jacksonville, the chamber, that donated or contributed large amounts to help us get this project done for our community. Another big thing that we launched this year is conversations around relocating this building, or administrative offices. So one of the things that we are committed to doing is exploring this opportunity. The city has talked for a long time about whether or not the school board building should be on the river any longer. Board Member Hershey brought this resolution forward, and it enabled us to really launch into a conversation about whether or not this is the best place for our administrative building, and if not, where would that be, and how do we best serve our students, and how do we make the best use of our tax dollars. So this is a conversation that's ongoing. We've enlisted support from consultants. We've got invitations to negotiate and requests for proposals that will be coming out shortly if they're not already on the street. I think we might have some pieces of it in motion already. I think in this month we'll be looking forward to having more conversation about this in workshop. I believe that's happening, yes, at the end of the month. We've just talked about schedules, but I think that's still on it. And so this isn't a conversation that ends under my chairmanship, but I'm really excited that it's a conversation that we were able to start. So thanks to the board for engaging in that, to Board Member Hershey. And I'm excited to see where this goes and making sure that we are able to best serve our students. As I like to say, we have done all of this, and in case you've forgotten, we've done it all during a pandemic. This is the second school year, the third school year that's been disrupted by COVID-19, and so I know that this has been really tough. This has been tough on us as a board. It has been tough on every single person in our community, those that have made really hard decisions, whether that is working through the pandemic or not working through the pandemic or losing a loved one. And we really have tried to do the best we can to make sure that children are at the forefront of every decision that we make as we navigate this unprecedented time. So one of the big pieces that we have recently been able to accomplish is passing our communicable disease policy. This is an ongoing conversation. We will see some procedures come forward from the superintendent later this month and have great dialogue, I'm sure, about what those procedures are going to look like moving forward. And the board will then take a vote. So there's more conversation still to be had, I know you thought maybe it was done, but there's still more conversations to have. And really and truly, I think that even when we disagree, when we are hearing each other and making decisions in the best interest of kids and meeting in the middle, that's the best place we can be. Not everybody is happy all of the time, and I can't promise that certainly that would ever happen. But when we are able to come together, have hard conversations, it is better for us all. So thank you all as a board and as a community for continuing to talk about COVID-19, even though it's getting exhausting. And finally, I like to leave it on a positive note. All of this work would not have been possible without really great partnerships and continuing to enrich partnerships between the board and folks across the city. So as I mentioned before, joint efforts with the Jacksonville Public Education Fund to support our renaming. And also something I'm really excited about, which we haven't had, I think, too much time to talk about, but I trust that it will be in our future, is the teacher retention and teacher diversity initiatives that Jacksonville Public Education Fund is launching for us. I think it's going to really help improve our system across the board for students. I'm grateful to Read USA and the team for providing books and helping get books into homes and into hands for elementary students across the district. And then I also want to give a shout out to JAX USA and the Chamber team for their partnership and their participation in certification of district CTE programs, which is part of our new strategic plan. They held talent advancement meetings with us, and they have convened CTE director meetings for all of Northeast Florida counties. That's only going to help continue to improve and grow our career and technical education programming here in Duval County. So it has been a year. We have been working really hard for all of you and for our students. I want to say thank you again to the board for your engagement, to our community and our parents for their engagement. It has truly been one of the greatest honors of my life to be able to sit here. That was an unexpected little piece of emotion. And really to serve. It has not been easy on many days, but I am grateful for the opportunity. So thank you all so much. With that being said, and before I turn it over, on our agenda this evening, on our consent agenda, and it has not been pulled, so I assume it's going to stay on our consent agenda, although it may be pulled. We do have a resolution that I do want to take a moment to read at the top of our meeting. It's a resolution ensuring that views are heard and exchanged in a safe environment, especially given some of the conversations we've had this year and some of the challenges we've faced. It is imperative, I think, as a board, that you all understand how much we value hearing from you all. Whereas the Duval County School Board is a nonpartisan body comprised of 7 elected members and is responsible for the control, operation, organization, management, and administration of public schools within Duval County, pursuant to the provisions and minimum standards prescribed by the Florida Constitution, Florida statutes, and State Board of Education. And whereas public education is essential to an informed citizenry, the foundation of our democratic society, and whereas public schools are the cornerstone of each community, bringing together adults, children, educators, volunteers, business leaders, community groups, and elected officials in a common enterprise. And whereas a commitment to First Amendment rights of all citizens is guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution and integral to the spirit of Florida's open meeting laws. And whereas the Duval County School Board both encourages and welcomes parents, as well as other concerned citizens, to engage in lively, respectful, and civic discourse at school board meetings. And whereas the Duval County School Board affirms that the safety of all school board members and citizens who attend school board meetings is of the utmost importance. And whereas the Duval County School Board members maintain full confidence in and appreciate our partnership with local and state law enforcement agencies to effectively address issues of public safety if they should arise. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Duval County School Board declares its ongoing intention to collaborate with its respective local law enforcement agencies to continue to provide a safe environment for all stakeholders to exchange views, thereby ensuring parents' voices are heard when it comes to decisions about their children's education and safety. So this resolution is on our consent agenda this evening. And I wanted to read it ahead of public comment tonight because I do think it has been such an important piece of all of the work that we have done. And I want to remind you all that we are here, and we know that we are here because you elect us to be here. We represent our communities and our constituencies, and we could not do this work without your feedback and your input. So thank you all so much. We do value you. We do appreciate you, even when we disagree. That is all I have to say for my chair report tonight. So thank you so much. I will turn it over to Dr. Green.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to start my report as I normally do, discussing where we are with COVID-19. We've been showing this chart for the last year and a half. Where we are the red bars, and the blue line represents all of last year. So for the last 3 weeks, we've pretty much either been below where we were this time last year or pretty much equal to it. As well as our testing comparison, as you can see, we have a whole lot more gray, which means those are, even though employees are taking a COVID-19 test, they're coming back negative. The blue represents positive, and so for the past few weeks, we've had very few positive COVID-19 tests, and actually you're seeing we're also having very few employees exhibit symptoms to even go in to get testing. Our testing sites in the past, we've always had 6 testing sites for employees. Because the numbers are dropping, we're down to just 4. Sorry, we're down to 4 testing sites. Hopefully those testing sites we can continue to dwindle down. As well as we have testing kits for parents. So if a student is exhibiting symptoms, the school will inform the parent, and the parent has the option to get a free testing kit from their child's school if they need it. So this is just the Department of Health. When the board implemented the emergency rule, the portion of that rule that we could suspend the rule was actually for 90 days. And if we met 2-prong moderate, which even though when you see the CDC and it says moderate, you actually go by which prong is the higher of the 2. Our percent positivity rate is actually now in low, but the new cases per 100,000 was the higher number. Therefore, that was the number we were waiting to fall into the moderate. And so as of Friday, the new cases per 100,000 was down to 41.2, which puts it in the moderate range. And as I stated earlier, the positivity rate is 2.9, actually in the low. The next slide is just showing the same information, the way we were tracking it each week, ensuring that our community knew where we stood from the Department of Health, as well as our employees. So again, we are at 41.2 per new cases per 100,000 and 2.9 positivity rate. And because we met the moderate, this allowed me as superintendent to suspend the mandatory mask requirement with only a medical opt-out. So using the authority provided in School Board Policy 3.27, as well as the school board's emergency rule, the mask requirements requiring a medical opt-out by licensed health care provider is suspended, and the district will transition to the following, which complies with the Florida Department of Health Emergency Rules 64 DER 21-15. Subject to ability of a parent/guardian in their sole discretion to opt out a student from wearing a face covering, all students must wear a face covering that covers their nose and mouth at all times inside a school or any administrative facility inside a building for purposes of a school-related or school-sponsored event, except as provided in administrative guidance for district athletics and performing arts and on district-sponsored transportation. The reason I needed to read this is because we have to officially put this in effect. So this officially takes effect Wednesday, although we shared with parents, if you had the original opt-out form or your medical, we would bring those to the forefront. And board members, I sent you late this evening that we are about a little over 11,000 opt-out, so that's about 8.5% of our parents have made this sole decision to opt their child out of wearing a face covering. So this requirement will remain in effect until such time as the board approves administrative procedures to control the spread of communicable diseases during an pandemic pursuant to board policy 5.64, expected to occur at the December 7th, 2021 regular board meeting. So with that information, most individuals knew what the impact was for students. What we are currently and continuing to share is the impact on employees and visitors. Employees and school board contractors performing routine employee functions such as substitutes, food service, custodial, masks are strongly encouraged, especially if they know that they cannot social distance. For visitors and volunteers, masks are required when working with students. As you can see, we still only have 8.5% of parents who have opted out of wearing a facial covering, so the vast majority of our students still wear a facial covering, and that is the reason we're asking volunteers and if you're working directly with students, to please wear a mask. Mask is required, excuse me. Just because we have the parent opt-out for masks, it does not mean that all the other mitigating strategies that we have been using have been suspended. So I want to remind our community that we are still enhancing classroom, school, and district cleaning protocols. We still promote social distancing wherever possible. We are still using the application of antimicrobial protectant spray in all high-touch areas, ensuring availability of hand sanitizer and sanitizing wipes, ongoing MERV 13 filter installations, increasing the availability of nursing staff and school health aides, and posting COVID-19 cases on our district dashboard for transparency. So we will continue to ensure our dashboard is up and running. Next events for the district, we are starting 2 upcoming vaccine clinics. We sent out an interest survey to all employees, and over 2,400 responses indicated that they were interested in a booster shot. So with that interest, we will have a booster clinic here at the District Administrative Building on November 5th from 8 a.m. to noon. It is just open for employees if they are interested in receiving a booster shot. We have shared with the Department of Health, who their third-party health heroes will be coming on Friday. I believe they will have 2, the Pfizer and the Moderna. I do not believe they will have the J&J. So if there are employees who had J&J, that will not be offered on Friday, Pfizer and Moderna. Also starting in November, we will have 4 vaccine clinics offered for employees and students ages, it says 5 through 11, but really it's 5 and above. Beginning in November, for those vaccine clinics, parents must be present. Our hope is that we will have our first one, and I know she's going to give me a side eye, on November 12th. That is our hope. That is a non-school day. And then the second shot would be on a Saturday, which would be December 4th, if everything comes through and we're able to hold those clinics at 4 different school locations. So that is my update as it relates to COVID-19. We've talked so much about COVID, we forget that there are many other things we are doing in the school district. And so we are getting ready to start our roadshow of school choice and parent information meetings. The school choice office, along with other departments, so VPK, Parent Academy, we're going to start these roadshow, so to speak, information sessions for parents. There's a lot of misinformation when it comes to school choice. We hear a lot from parents who say, well, I thought I had to make a choice. No, you can go to your zone school and you do not have to go and look at all the schools and determine you want to make a choice, but we also want you to know that that is available for you to make those choices. So as you can see, we have a number of dates. We will make sure that the board office has this information and location if any board members would like to attend our school choice roadshow. We are doing presentations in November and December. Leading up to our school choice, we are going to, for the second year in a row, do a virtual school choice, but school visitations will be open this year. So when schools, you saw Dr. Tyson White said, we are welcoming parents in for a tour of our school. All the schools will be doing school tours, even though the School Choice Expo will be done virtually. I'd like to close with a short video. We have been an innovative district, and I'm going to say prior to me arriving in Duval, but Mr. Colbert has been definitely, what would be the right word, encouraged to constantly look for innovative ways that we can use technology in our classrooms, and we truly had to be innovative when we went to completely online. But we saw, I don't know whether it was Mr. Colbert or myself, we saw this advertisement about something called e-glass. And I think I sent it to Jim and said, this is something we should review. This is something we should see if there are teachers that are interested. And we were really looking at math. When you're teaching math, those of us who were former educators, 9 times out of 10, your back is to your class. And that is never a good thing if you can help it. Don't have your back to them. E-glass allows you to do math or whatever, and you're always facing the class, and the class sees it as if you are doing it in the old days on a chalkboard or on a smart board. And now we have I don't want to say it's an upgrade, but students can actually now engage with e-glass. We are piloting this at 10 schools: Southside Middle School, R.L. Brown, Lake Lucina, Rufus Payne, with our Teacher of the Year, Mr. Jim Smith at Mandarin High School, First Coast High School, Ed White High School, Kernan Middle School, and through our virtual DVIA, Duval Virtual Instructional Academy. And so this video is just showing you our teachers and our students actually interacting and engaging with e-glass. DVIA. Students are learning remotely, and the teacher is using e-glass. Abrupt ending, sorry. That is
that is the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Green. I do appreciate Mr. Colbert always pushing the bounds of innovation. I know that our students and families appreciate it, and hopefully they'll be better prepared for college, career, work, life after high school because of all of these innovative opportunities they have to engage with technology in our schools. So thank you so much. Thank you for your report, Dr. Green. We are now on to the public comments portion of our meeting. The school board welcomes your comments on matters that are before the board for consideration. It is not the board's intent to respond this evening, but to use the input in our deliberations. To give everyone appropriate respect and courtesy, we ask the audience to refrain from audible comments or applause. When you come to the microphone, please state your name for the record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. When the green light in front of me starts blinking, you will have a minute remaining. When the light turns yellow, you will have 30 seconds remaining. When it turns red and the buzzer sounds, your time will be up. If your concerns exceed that time, you may present written comments to the board. Board policy provides for an orderly and efficient meeting without disruption by words or actions. You are also asked to refrain from references to specific individuals and to follow expectations for civil discourse. In an effort to mitigate against the spread of COVID-19, we have placed hand sanitizer and disinfectant wipes at the podium. We ask that each speaker wipe down the microphone and podium before they address the board. Please remember that speaker cards were only accepted until 6:20 p.m. Thank you for taking your time to address the board this evening. Vice Chairman?
Yes, indeed. We have 22 public speakers for this evening. We will start with Robert Stafford, followed by Frank DeLong.
Last time I was before the board, I think that my purpose was misconstrued. Folks thought I was here asking questions about millage, but I was actually trying to get the ear of the board members to know I'm trying to find out if there's a basis of estimate for new construction for the schools. For instance, when Rains in the plan or your need statement for Rains High School when it was standalone, and we're talking around numbers, the estimate was $65 million. But for consolidated Rains in your need statement there, the estimate was $77 million. The inference there is that it only takes $12 million to construct a middle school. Now, has that evolved? Do we have a basis of estimates for new construction for elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools? And the second part of that, well, I read the 2007 plan, long-range master plan. It was a need statement. Same thing. You use the same process. They calculated FCIs, and you did the same thing twice. You bought the same thing just from a different vendor. And in 2007, they couldn't go back to the well and get a surcharge because they had done the surcharge in 2000. And the taxpayers would find that, I don't think the taxpayers would have liked that. Well, it didn't fly. It died on the vine. If I can get the slides from the presentation that the chairperson presented tonight, that answer a lot of my questions regarding costs and all. I see here that I downloaded and printed out your the report of construction projects, the 229 projects. I see a lot of blank spaces where it says completion and inspection. I saw nothing on there for Rains High School. I saw one project for Reebok. So is this evolving? This date, the one I have is dated July 2021. So I see this is public periodically. What's the periodicity? Is it quarterly? Is it every 6 months? Biannually? But there's nothing here for Rains. I even saw a project for Terry Parker High School where they're going to put the ability in the lockers for students to charge their cell phones. So I want you to go to Rains and look at the signage over the main entrance, how it's rusting, falling apart. I want you to go and walk along the stadium and see that there's a asphalt path there that's not accessible. I want you to go and look at the parking lot along Rains, on Rains Avenue, the Jimmy Johnson Parkway, and see that there are no accessible parking spaces here. I want you to go on the parking lot and see that all the accessible lots are fading.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Stafford. Thank you, sir. Next, we'll have Frank DeLong, followed by Katie McNeil.
Frank DeLong, Chairman IBW 177 Union. Dr. Green, members of the school board, I'm here tonight because one of our maintenance employees was injured this past July the 29th at 5:30 a.m. This resulted in him having a bloody nose, busted lip, and a knot on his forehead the size of a golf ball. An ambulance was called. He was taken to the hospital. The copious amounts of blood that was on the ground and walls where he fell had to be washed down with a water hose. The supervisors expressed their medical opinions, for which no one has been issued a medical degree in the maintenance department. They were blaming this incident on COVID, which turns out it wasn't. Also, your supervisors failed to do their jobs by not filing a report within 24-hour district policy time frame. The supervisors also failed to file a workman's comp claim. 59 days later, on September the 28th, a report was finally filed and it was backdated. For the workman's comp, the report has to be filed within 30 days of the accident, not 59 days. The report was filed after the word attorney was expressed by the employee. However, the report does not mention the injury at all. The injury included the head and the face, but only stated he was dizzy and nauseous. The employee is still out of work, and I just learned that the state can fine the school board for failing to report an accident. That makes me go, The one true thing that supervisors are now doing is trying to justify their actions. CYA, keep it quiet. Also, very graphic video is now gone. Obviously, this should have never happened this way, and corrective disciplinary actions are needed to ensure that it does not happen this way again. Their medical opinions need to be kept to themselves in the future. Another example is supervisors expressing their medical opinion recently as an employee was tested through the school board, and the nurse told him to stay home until he had no fever. Although he tested negative, the supervisor told him that he could come to work if he wanted. He just needed to stay away from others. That's absolutely not the way this is supposed to be handled. As far as the employee who was injured, we are asking that the injured employee get his missed time back as well as his lost wages. Make this employee whole again. It was not his fault that your supervisors failed to do their job in accordance to district policy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeLong. Next, we'll have Katie McNeil, followed by Merrill Vogel.
My name is Katie McNeil. If someone steals $100,000 from you and returns $25,000 to you several months later, you don't thank them for that. You put them in jail for stealing. In that vein, you don't deserve any thanks or praise for the mask mandate dropping. You deserve continuous criticism for having forced masks in the first place, harming the children for nearly 2 months for no benefit. Instead of acknowledging this, you sit up there patting yourselves on the backs for protecting kids and think to yourself, wow, we did it. Cases went down because of our mask mandate, which is utterly ridiculous. Cases went down everywhere in Florida, regardless of mandates. Respiratory viruses follow the Hope-Simpson curve. Your season for respiratory viruses is determined by your latitude, not by how pious or moral, how good you behaved. It's hubris to think masks have any impact on the spread of a highly infectious aerosolized virus. Living in the North Tropic latitude zone, it is completely expected that cases would have gone up in August and come back down in October. We should fully expect cases of respiratory viruses to go back up in December, as the Hope-Simpson curve indicates will happen both in the North Tropical and North Temperate regions, with the North Temperate regions like the northeast of this country getting hit much, much harder than us in December and January. The question remains which respiratory viruses will be dominant. Hopefully here we have achieved enough natural immunity as a community to COVID during this summer wave that it won't be COVID spreading come December. I say natural immunity because of, as CDC Rochelle Walensky, director, said verbatim about the COVID shots, What they can't do anymore is prevent transmission. At the last school board meeting, I said I was concerned about what you would do next, and I didn't have to wait an hour to find out. There was an attempt to pass a vaccine mandate for Duval school employees hidden in one line of an MOU. I think if you were proud of that mandate, you would have highlighted it instead of sneakily weaving it into a COVID shot incentive program. Not one of you up there has any business coercing or forcing medical care on others. You're not sophisticated enough thinkers to be making medical decisions for anyone, including pushing a shot on people that can never be undone. These shots should only be taken with full informed consent, free from any and all coercion or force. We already have confirmation from the CDC that they don't stop transmission, nullifying any claims of community benefit. In case you are unaware, these shots turn your body into a spike protein manufacturer, the intent being that your body learns to recognize the spike protein and produce antibodies should you encounter the real virus. But the spike protein itself is damaging and for some deadly. This is why we are seeing adverse reactions unlike any other widely taken vaccine. The people who made these shots are crazy. They could have picked any of the other proteins of the virus, that they picked the protein that causes damage. The spike protein being made throughout your body by your own cells is why we're seeing sudden deaths, strokes, heart attack, heart inflammation, paralysis, blood clots in the extremities leading to amputations of arms and legs, just to name a few adverse reactions. To give this shot to children is completely insane, and I think most of this board is itching to do just that. As you've already shown a complete disregard for parental rights in the law, it would be naive to think you won't try it.
Thank you, Ms. McNeil. Next, we'll have Merrill Vogel, followed by Dave Baldwin. Do we have Merrill Vogel? Not here. Their topic was NSBA Symposium. Dave Baldwin, followed by Sunny B.
Good evening. My name's Dave Baldwin. My address is 1644 Searle Lane, Jacksonville 32207. I'm just here to say thank you. My mother, my sister and brother-in-law, numerous friends, co-workers are all highly vulnerable to COVID-19. So for their sakes, I appreciate your putting the health of our students, teachers, staff, and frankly, the community at large ahead of politics. Now, you won't hear from very many people like me because let's face it, I'm not angry. Angry is a great motivator, as you've heard. But trust me, we're out there. Frankly, I think we're in the majority, and you do have our support. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baldwin. Next, we'll have Sunny B, followed by Felicia Proya. And if you could state your full name for the record, Mr. Sunny B.
Sonny Bartley.
Excellent.
Mask coverings and social distancing is a control mechanism under the guise to keep us safe. It alienates each citizen from one another and annihilates the very existence of human touch, communication, care, and love, not to mention they don't work. There's a cure, therapeutics, and treatment for COVID-19, or should we say antidote, because we learned that the chief medical advisor of POTUS was responsible for gain-of-function, bioterrorism, a poison in the form of coronavirus called COVID-19, the Wuhan virus, which was created in China's Wuhan Institute of Virology and funded by the corrupt U.S. government. Here are some vaccine headlines for you to ponder. Fully vaccinated Mississippi sheriff found dead in his home after positive COVID-19 test. Fully vaccinated Colin Powell dies of COVID-19 complication. A captain pilot dies mid-flight after taking second vaccine shot a few days prior of an emergency landing. A fully vaccinated 16-year-old student dies suddenly during a school Zoom meeting. NBA player got blood clots from COVID vaccine that ends his season and possibly his career. NBA told him to keep it quiet. Yet Kyrie Irving is demonized by the fake woke mob for not getting the deadly experimental vaccines. Like Joe Rogan, I too was cured of COVID with ivermectin and budesonide. However, hospital protocols are prescribing a drug that puts you into renal failure called remdesivir, and midazolam, a drug that relieves anxiety but slows down the breathing. And once the oxygen saturation decreases to an almost fatal rate, they intubate you and place you on a vent to die alone because there are no visitations from family members due to COVID regulations. The hospital collects over $40,000 from FEMA. Then hospital executives run to the bathroom to wash their hands of the blood money they've just acquired. This is the greatest pandemic the world has ever seen, yet they are blocking, censoring, hiding, and vilifying the cures while hiding staggering numbers of vaccine deaths and adverse effects. Think about it. If they were really concerned for human lives, shouldn't they want to exhaust every possibility known to mankind to get rid of this deadly virus, killing millions of people worldwide? This is globalism at work, the Great Reset. And once more Americans wake up from the mesmerizing spell of the fake news media and realize there was no need for a scamdemic nor deadly vaccines, there will be hell to pay, which is why I am here to stand in defiance of tyranny, express my displeasure, and expose the whole corrupt deep state system to win back our country from renegades posing as Americans. Now to the school board, if you continue on this path, you too will be complicit in the scandal to destroy our constitutional rights as Americans. But know this, I will fight to the death to save our freedom, because without freedom, we are dead already. Let's go, Brandon. 1776 rewind, and may God bless America, because we sure do need him now.
Thank you, Mr. Bartley. Next, we'll have Felicia Proya, followed by Joseph Cummings.
Hello, thank you so much to Dr. Green, to Chairman Liz Anderson, and to the rest of the board members. I am Felicia Proya. I am a school psychologist with Duval County Public Schools, and we were recognized earlier this meeting, and I wanted to take the time to say thank you for that recognition. And I also wanted to just give you a little bit of some background on school psychologists in Duval County, what we can do, and maybe a staggering statistic that you might not be aware of. So I do want to start off by giving a special thank you to Ms. Elizabeth Anderson for coming to our most recent training for the Northeast Association of School Psychologists. We absolutely treasure that you are a mental health practitioner and that you really champion that for our students. We really see that, and if it's okay at the end of my comment, I'd like to give you a button or a pin for our 10-year anniversary, if that's okay. All righty, great. So I did want to say thank you for the board for considering salary increases as well as the bonus that includes other school personnel, because school psychologists were left out of that bonus that the governor gave, and I wanted to say a thank you for that. But I wanted to also just plea with you about a staggering statistic that you might not know about Duval County. Currently, the National Association of School Psychologists recommends one school psychologist for every 500 students. Nationally, there is an average of one school psychologist to every 1,000 students. In Duval County and many Florida counties that don't have mandates for wage increases, it's one school psychologist to 5,000 students. So we are just really having our backs against the wall to provide support to our students. We ask, as NEFASP, as a school psychologist, that you consider adding more positions going forward. We do primarily test right now, but we can offer so much more to teachers. Every day that I go into schools and I work with my teams, we want to do so much. We want to provide more support for interventions. We want to provide more support for consultation. We want to do so much more. We are integral for school safety. We are integral for school justice. We support fairness and equality. So I just wanted to again say thank you for all the support that you give us. But we do need a little bit more, and I'm always here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Ms. Proya. She's handing out gifts that I'm jealous of. We'll next have Joseph Cummings, followed by Margaret Yarborough.
My name is Joseph Cummings. I know y'all remember me. I'm the gentleman that got escorted out last time for expressing my First Amendment right to freedom of speech. But before I begin, I know I'm not supposed to address the audience, but wow, what a very impactful speech that the gentleman gave before the young lady before me. But this afternoon I came to address something that I addressed last month. I addressed critical race theory, and I came to speak in opposition to that. It's my belief that the current American school system is raising a generation of slaves. They're raising a generation that they're teaching how to think and what to think instead of teaching them how to be free, independent thinkers. So that's first of all. Second of all, it's my belief that critical race theory teaches white kids that they're bad and that they're oppressors for the color of their skin. And furthermore, it teaches black kids that they're oppressed, which goes against what Dr. Martin Luther King famously said. Dr. King said that I have a dream that one day my 4 children will live in a country where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the contents of their characters. And critical race theory goes against that. See, critical race theory, furthermore, teaches a generation to hate their country. And if a generation hates their country, how could they possibly defend it? So, see, I'm here tonight to stand up for the next generation. Because just a few years ago, I was in school myself, and personally, as a 21-year-old today, I feel like the school system did not teach me the knowledge for life. Everything that I know today, I learned outside of school. So I just want to come in opposition of critical race theory, and also to the gentleman that spoke powerfully. I have $1,000 sitting in my savings account right now, and I just want you to know that when you decide to run for office and take any one of these seats, I will gladly donate to your campaign. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cummings. Next, we'll have Margaret Yarborough, followed by Rebecca Nathanson.
Hello, my name is Margaret Yarborough, parent, Duval County parent of 2. Without telling parents, DCPS developed an LGBT support guide which intentionally excludes parents. It's 37 pages long. This LGBT policy explicitly lays out the way for DCPS to hide sexually orientation information about children from their parents by keeping it off student records. It states that it is almost never appropriate to share this information with the parent, and that the district has a legal obligation to act in the place of the parent. DCPS is grossly mistaken if it thinks it's my kid's parent. Why is DCPS usurping parents' authority? DCPS does not have the authority to affirm gender dysphoria in kids or to even discuss this topic with them. DCPS wouldn't support anorexic dysphoria, would it? No, because that would be child abuse. The LGBT guide even suggests that anti-LGBT parents are possibly a threat to their own kids. In reality, DCPS's promotion of gender confusion and a lifestyle which promotes chemical castration and mutilation is the real threat to kids and families. DCPS should be teaching kids the truth about who they are, to love and accept the way they were made instead of being taught to hate the body they were born with. It's a fact that gender cannot be changed. Additionally, LGBT safe space stickers are popping up on classroom doors at La Villa and even on the girls' bathroom at Douglas Anderson. Are biological boys allowed in girls' bathrooms? If so, this is outrageous. Faculty are wearing rainbow badges on their lanyards so that students come to them instead of parents about their dysphoria. The district actively seeks to indoctrinate kids without parental consent. The district is lying when it says it wants to make schools as safe and inclusive as possible. This indoctrination campaign goes above and beyond to show favoritism to the LGBT community while pushing all other groups aside. This is discrimination. Mayport Middle had a luncheon exclusively for LGBT students, but not for straight kids. I don't see Christian crosses or heterosexual safe space stickers around school or a campaign to promote these groups with taxpayer dollars. Is that even allowed? You can't claim to be inclusive while excluding all other protective groups. LGBT ideologies are harmful and contrary to not only my family's Christian beliefs and way of life, but also to most people's way of life, completely undermining what we teach our kids at home. It's an assault on the family institution. Conveniently, DCPS started this campaign while parents were banned from entering school, with rainbow posters and stickers on school walls and in front offices, even elementary schools. DCPS is not the parent. The fact that this board and superintendent devised a plan to keep gender secrets from parents and market controversial sexual lifestyles to children is disgusting and reprehensible. We need a less woke superintendent, and I pray most of this board gets voted out next election, especially my district member for District 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Yarborough. Next, we'll have Rebecca Nathanson, and I believe Ms. Nathanson has submitted written comments for the board as well, followed by Josh Nathanson.
Good evening. My name is Rebecca Nathanson. I came tonight after learning of your plan to approve valuable tax dollars for a board member to attend a conference as part of the National School Board Association's Equity Symposium and Advocacy Institute in Washington, D.C. in January. I'm speaking for many people who have some of the same concerns but were not able to come tonight. We are a group of 1,400 people in Northeast Florida who have united from all political backgrounds on the single issue of parental rights in education. We urge the board to reject this agenda item and instead use this as an opportunity to send the district community a strong message of support in the wake of the fallout from the NSBA's letter to the president in September, which referred to public school parents as an immediate threat and that their actions would be equivalent to a form of domestic terrorism and hate crimes. The NSBA's letter and the subsequent memo from the Department of Justice left public school parents defeated, frustrated, and scared. Locally, the members of the Moms for Liberty reported feeling pressured to abandon advocacy efforts. Parents watched as just days after the memo, our own Office of State Attorney and Jacksonville FBI gave a press conference announcing a new initiative to combat hate crimes while recognizing that hate crimes have not actually increased locally in recent years. Parents learned from sources also that days after the DOJ memo, the Jacksonville FBI requested to meet with the Duval County Public Schools police chief. We recognize that all levels of government, even locally here in Jacksonville, mobilized as a result of the DOJ memo, and we are keenly aware of the danger of dissenting or even questioning thought in this environment. Parent members expressed fear that they would be investigated or their employees notified. Despite our inability to afford elite private school for our children, we're not ignorant masses that the NSBA believes us to be, and we refuse to be characterized as anything other than law-abiding, loving, and rightfully concerned parents. Sadly, there's no real way to know how many parents will now decide in the future not to play an active role in their child's education because of this heavy-handed and political reaction at all levels of government. The chilling effect of the NSBA letter will impact civil discourse for years to come. We hear endlessly from the board about data-driven decisions. The data is clear. Parental involvement is the #1 factor for academic success. If the school system was really data-driven, you'd be fighting for more, not less parental involvement. And you would make the decision to stand with parents and not to attend the NSBA symposium.
Thank you, Ms. Nathanson. Next, we'll have Josh Nathanson, followed by Karen Olson.
Good evening. My name is Josh Nathanson. I came tonight to speak about the NSBA symposium you plan to spend tax dollars on. While the complete agenda for the symposium is not available online, the schedule as of October 18th shows sessions on dismantling institutional racism in education, and creating safe spaces in schools. The symposium is part of a three-part series. We are unable to confirm if any board members attended the prior series lectures held on February and July. We note that both prior symposiums are available online. A review of the prior series agenda shows some sessions titled Dismantling Racism, Undoing Miseducation, Prescribing the Equity Lens, School Members' Perspectives, and Race and Racism. We request this board keep in mind the following questions and arguments against attending the symposium and address them during the Sunshine discussions. Is it appropriate for the board to use taxpayer dollars, money intended to be used in good faith to further education opportunities of our children, to instead further a financial position of a $90 million trade association, which is the NSBA? We leave this as a standing question, requesting the board address at any time it decides to spend money towards lobbying efforts, litigation, or trade associations instead of our children. Make no mistake, the board's resolution of the school board ensuring that views are heard and exchanged in a safe environment does not negate the ill will created by spending our tax dollars to support the NSBA. Please explain it that you need to spend any tax dollars to travel several states away when there is an ample information on these subjects online and for free on the NSBA website. And when some of these resources, the material used to inform the NSBA training, is based on theory not permitted in Florida classrooms. In our documentation, which we've submitted, are some screenshots of the training material available online to the prior two symposiums. We are bringing this up because parents deserve to know that the NSBA not only thinks we are akin to domestic terrorists, but that it wants to teach our board that academic achievement indicators are just, and I quote, used to help oppressors create social inequities. Parents and board members should know that these resources the NSBA uses to inform its lectures, such as titles Shut Up and Listen, Applied Critical Race Theory in the Classroom. Is it really the best way to spend tax dollars? Please reconsider approving this agenda item. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Nathanson. Next, we'll have Karen Olson, followed by Natalie Dreyer.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Green, Board of Directors, for this opportunity. My name is Karen Olson. I came tonight to speak about the NSBA symposium you plan to spend valuable tax dollars on. We believe we speak for most of the parents who woke up in 2020 when we say that we have only been at this paying attention to what goes on at the school board level thing for just a few months. And already we are inundated with concerns from the community. In fact, we submit to you that many of your educators and staff believe topics such as institutional racism dominate their professional training, but they are afraid to speak up or express their concern. Our request is not a comment on the importance of the topics expected to be discussed during the symposium. The important nature of the topic discussed is not a defense but of your decision to use taxpayer resources to attend this symposium. In fact, should the board want further training on the topics of equity or institutional racism, it need only look no further than its own Office of Climate and Culture website. We've emailed you just some of this information. Perhaps more importantly, please explain how it is that the board thinks it is prudent to spend any tax dollars on equity training when a local elementary school's PTA had to approve the use of its funds to provide a paper shredder for the front office last year, or when teachers spend their own money for supplies such as copy paper, air filters, printer ink, and sanitizer wipes, which I think I saw that you say you provide. Yes, all of these items were reported by members as actual expenses that the local schools did not have the funds to cover. The board should be ashamed to spend money to travel to Washington, D.C. at a time when our hardworking school administrators, educators, and staff do not have the resources they need to handle their day-to-day work. We recognize that the board does not control many of these funding issues. We also recognize the work the board has done to help educators and staff this year. Sure, 3,000 plus will not solve these problems, but the optics to an exhausted employee base are just as bad as the optics to your parent constituents. Simply put, we've had enough. Let's put it another way. We no longer want our taxpayer dollars wasted on the NSBA. We are confident that this board will show they are good stewards of the public trust and vote in opposition of agenda item A. Should the board decide to instead vote in favor of this item,
Thank you,
spend
Ms.
our
Olson.
money traveling,
Thank you, Ms.
please
Olson.
go see to the National Archives and read about civil rights, our rights.
Thank you, Ms. Olson. Next, we'll have Natalie Dreyer, followed by Melissa Bernhardt.
Good evening. My name is Natalie Dreyer, and I'm the mom to two amazing middle school students. I spoke to this board last on October 26 and would like to briefly remind you of those highlights. I spoke about the Duval County School Board as being sanctioned by the Florida Department of Education, and I quote, "When you willingly and knowingly violated the rights of students and parents by denying them the option to make personal and private healthcare and educational decisions for their children." I also spoke about how the Duval County Schools advertises a series of free and confidential services, including screenings for STDs like chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis, and also free and confidential screenings for HIV, including follow-up test results, treatment, and/or counseling for students who test positive. Again, all free and confidential, no parents involved. Having a student as young as 13 receive free and confidential services that include HIV testing and follow-up treatment and counseling when testing positive is insane. Also on October 26, I read to you about your Birds and Bees partnership that offered a peer-to-peer texting network with advertisements that state things like getting laid, text, talk, DCPS. I do understand that partnership is now under review. But on October 26, I asked this board to get out of the parent business. These are our children, not yours. Please get back to the core values of public education and stay out of the rest. But today I learned that on October 26, something else happened. Your partner organization, Health Hero Florida, gave a flu shot to 5-year-old Easton Sullivan without his parents' consent. Apparently, Easton had a similar name to a child whose parents did authorize that shot. Mind you, not the same name, but a similar one. Even 5-year-old Easton said numerous times there was a name mix-up. And this family's precious 5-year-old is now a victim of your policy and procedures allowing this level of mishap. I don't know the Sullivan family, but I'm very grateful they're making their story public. Easton's mother, Ebony, was quoted to say, "We trust to send our kids to school to be safe. Your actions have let her down." And now all the fallout effects. Your staff members are suspended, a 5-year-old child had a medical treatment without parent consent, and now the family will be seeking financial compensation. Your district is likely headed to a financial settlement. And good for them. We stand here and beg you to stop making these partnerships and decisions that can violate parental rights and little changes. Hopefully this upcoming lawsuit will create a ripple effect for change. And please hear me now. Do not begin the effort to start up the COVID kindness vaccine clinic for children ages 5 to 11. I'm confident that any parent who wants their child vaccinated will have ready and free access to do so across our community. You don't need to pick this one up. On October 26, a lot of things happened. Plus, in the last week, headlines have revealed that a sex predator was allowed on site at Westside High, where he videoed 2 students in their sexual activity in the restroom. A Teacher of the Year nominee was arrested, and now Little Easton is a victim of a flu shot partner clinic. The days are long, but the years are short. Please get out of the healthcare business. I remind you, 58% of your middle schoolers do not read at grade level. This is your calling. Suspend all efforts that deliver medical services and put it into literacy, because right is right and wrong is wrong.
Thank you, Ms. Dreyer. Next, we'll have Melissa Bernhardt, followed by Cornell Oliver.
Good evening, board. My name is Melissa Bernhardt, and I'm going to start with my plan on how to help you guys. The plan is introduce a concept of mind, body, spirit as a wholeness in humanity. Prayer is a catalyst and a support for guidance, stability during conflict and uncertainty, to restore hope, joy, self-worth, eradicating bullying, inequality, and discrimination. I literally have the solution for you guys. It's prayer. And I'm not talking Christian, Episcopalian, Lutheran. I'm just talking about teach these kids about hope. So I wanted to start with that because that's my end and I probably won't get to it. So I wanted to apologize to the board. I made a mistake last month. I said 2 board members voted to not go into litigation. It was actually 3 board members, and I apologize for that mistake. In saying that I can apologize for my mistake, the 4 board members that voted to go into litigation, I think you should write an apology letter and retract your litigation decision. All right, so the NSBA Equity Symposium, January 22nd, 2022. I checked out the stories and research on that website. I'm going to highlight some words. Justice leaders. The super from Michigan will discuss how they prioritize equity, including working with educators, nonprofits, and church leaders. That's pretty cool. To provide training on bias, diversity, race, and long-term effects of poverty on generations of students. Next topic. To live out loud extends the lines to the LGBTQ students for bullying, discrimination, rejection, and suicide. Love Not Hate discusses the attacks on Asians and Asian Americans. Online Discipline Gap discusses minority, it actually says Black, low income and special education students. Equity lesson, racial, social justice inequities. Diverse teachers matter, retaining teachers of color. The past is our present, rethinking how to teach U.S. history, incorporating relevant lessons, and encouraging students to think critically. Why weren't we doing this before? It goes on to say Blacks and Native Americans, and so I have this LGBTQ book, which was by the Duval County Public Schools, written to stop suicide and bullying. But where is the whites in all of this? You think that whites aren't being bullied? You think whites aren't committing suicide? Your plan needs to be everyone. On this book, it says every school, every classroom, every student, every day. How about instead of doing LGBTQ, how about do all of our students and get back to academics?
Thank you, Ms. Bernhardt. Next, we'll have Carnell Oliver, followed by Debbie DeCipio.
Yes, my name is Carnell Oliver. Hold on. Can I get y'all to restart the clock for me? Thank you. My name is Carnell Oliver. I want to just kind of highlight, I'm getting thrown off because my ears are getting beat up behind people's closed, narrow-mind perspective on what life really is. If nobody's really ventured out, been anywhere, actually experienced life, you only have one perspective on life until you actually put your feet inside of somebody else's footsteps, and you'll actually get a bigger look at the picture that you're actually looking at. Sometimes you look at one picture, you thinking you got the Picasso, but to me, that picture to me is a piece of trash, so I'm putting it in a trash can. But the thing about it is, those are the different variables that we got to come to grips at. We've got too many people that are driving division in our community, but they don't really understand what's going on in each district. There are people I went to school with that works for the Duval Public School System. I keep my mouth shut to a certain extent about what I know and what I don't know. And there are certain things that when you talk about the LGBTQ community, you got some parents that are so headstrong, they will throw their kids out on the street. And most of them are getting associated with programs called Jasmine. Or if you're talking about race or anything like that, you need to look at your home. Why is it so uncomfortable for a parent to talk to their own child about discrimination inside their own household? Because they was never given the opportunity to actually be taught it. The difficulties in this community when it comes down to our education, nobody really knows nothing. We all have opinions, but until you cross that other side of the track and you get a feel for what somebody else is going through, maybe your eyes are open a little bit more. But until we get past this closed-minded agenda and start building a collective together, that's what I really came down here for. I came down here for two purposes. Number one, we need to invest in real civic education. When I'm talking about civic education, I'm talking about the kind of stuff I know. How federal dollars come down to our local community. How state dollars come down to our community. I want to get back to that level of education. And number two, I'm coming to y'all for a resolution, for an ordinance on the city side, for an apprenticeship bill that I am trying to push like all outdoors to try to have something on the books. Because I'm trying to build something from the ground up. I'm a progressive, but I understand people from across the board. I've been on both sides of the tracks, so I understand. But when I'm dealing with somebody that don't know nothing, my ears start to get beat up. That's why I kept asking Mr. Willie, how many people I got ahead of me? I'm not trying to disrespect nobody, but at the same time, you don't know nothing. You need to really go to some of these other districts and really learn something.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. Next, we'll have Debbie DeCipio, followed by Elizabeth Ehlers.
Hi, good evening. My name is Debbie DeCipio. I have a question. Why did you feel the need to draft a resolution ensuring that views are heard and exchanged in a safe environment? Your letter was drafted after the NSBA sent their letter to the White House declaring those who speak at school board meetings are domestic terrorists. Is that your view of us? That we come here, that we're domestic terrorists? Have you drafted a letter condemning the NSBA? If so, have you published that letter? The meetings I've attended, I've heard no one make personal threats to any board member. I would be the first to condemn any such action, as well as the parents that I've met here. No one I've met here would stand for anyone to threaten any one of you guys. Parents have been emotional, passionate, and yes, angry. Angry because you think you know what's best for their child. You've also defied the governor's executive order on mandates, causing even more anger from parents. Parents have authority over their children, not you and not the doctor. I was here in early August and a gentleman pounded on the podium demanding a mask mandate. I did not hear anyone here tell him to stop yelling and pounding on the podium, nor did I see the police get close to him. Is this the gentleman that the letter was written for? I've not seen those opposed to your overreach behave in this manner. Viola Garcia, former president of NSBA, is now on the federal board overseeing student progress. She was appointed by Miguel Cardona, the same person that's promising to pay you for defying the governor's order. Can't make it up. School clinics administering medications like the flu shots need to be stopped. Unless a parent is physically present, no child should be given medication like that. So now that has happened. A 5-year-old's been given a flu shot without parental permission, and we, the taxpayers, are going to pay those litigation fees and whatever compensation that parent is awarded. What else has been done without parental permission? Who knows? Fortunately, I didn't have my phone with me, but to quote Dr. Anthony, oh shoot, next time.
Thank you, Ms. DeCipio. Next, we'll have Elizabeth Ehlers, followed by Elton Brown.
Hi, good evening. My name is Elizabeth Ehlers, and I've been a teacher. This is my 30th year. And I have taught 1st through 5th grade, and I have a little girl in my class, I teach 2nd now, who I don't know how she was promoted in 1st grade. She has such a difficult time, and she has several other issues in her way as well. She's now selected mute, but she has only really scored zeros on things, but I'm not supposed to give zeros, so it's pretty much I give her 50s. And I would just hope and pray that she can be put back in first grade. Her name is Avery Jordan, and she's a wonderful little girl. Her grandmother's here, and I was hoping that we could speak together, but I came in early, which is first time for everything. But anyway, I'm just asking and hoping that Avery Jordan can go back to first grade instead of being in second grade.
Please don't use a student's name.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I've never come here before. This is a new experience. It's quite entertaining, I must say. But anyway, I really would love this little girl to go back and get the basics that she so needs. And I just hope that that can happen. Thank you so much, and keep up the groovy work.
Thank you, Mr. Ellers. I'm sure we'll have somebody connect with you all. Next, we'll have Elton Brown, followed by Ed Williams.
Good evening, Superintendent, board members, Chair. My name is Elton Brown. I'm President of Local 2941, representing food service and custodians. And I'm here this evening to speak to you regarding the contracted company. As you know, over the last 18 months, we've faced and battled COVID-19. The numbers are currently on the decline, but that does not mean that the fight is over. The students, staff, and faculty of the district still deserve to enter a school building which has been properly cleaned and ready for them to teach and learn. Sanitation and health of the district should never be jeopardized for the sake of profit. This new custodial company, HES, is coming doing the same thing the previous company did. In the midst of fighting COVID-19, HES have decided to reduce custodian hours. This reduction of hours will have devastating impact on the students, staff, and faculty of the district and the custodians' ability to clean and sanitize those buildings properly. It will have a negative impact not only to the student, the district employees, as well as the entire community. And we're asking and urging the board to revisit the contracted company's status here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Next, we'll have Ed Williams, followed by Tim Miller.
My name's Ed Williams, and I had a statement from Judge Robert Long. He wrote actually a statement here. The foundational question before us is whether the respondent, which the Duval County School Board is one of the respondents, government actors are required to comply with the laws that govern their authority. So, in essence, is the Duval County School Board required to follow the laws that govern the Duval County School Board? Paraphrasing what I heard tonight, this mask mandate is suspended until the Duval County School Board deems it necessary not to follow the law. The Duval County School Board is not a law unto itself. How does the school board justify to the students that watch what's going on, that hear what's going on, how do you justify following a law if you want to follow the law? I mean, is it okay if I want to park in a handicapped spot? No, it's not. We should follow the law. This is a nation of law and order. And not a nation of mandates either, really. But he goes on to say, after stating the emergency rule in question, he says the respondents, which the Duval County School Board is one of the respondents, using taxpayer dollars not to follow the law. Respondents concede their policies do not comply with the rule. So the Duval County School Board has agreed, you're not following the rule. But he goes on to say, the respondents have been remarkably open in their defiance. The Duval County School Board has been remarkably open to the defiance of not following the law. In short, they acknowledge they are defying the law, but argue that the courts should refuse to compel their compliance. Why? How do you justify to the students this defiance? Would you want the students to defy your rules? I don't think so.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Next, we'll have Tim Miller, followed by Greg Sappett.
Good evening. My name is Tim Miller. I've got a couple concerns. The first one is you've had 3 special board meetings this month, or last month, I'm sorry, on 10/11, 10/19, 10/26. All of those at times when most parents cannot attend. The one on 10/11 was at 2:30 in the afternoon. The other 2 at 9 a.m. Most people are working during that day and cannot be here to actively participate in this process. There has been a lot of community engagement the last several months. Some of it's been quite uncomfortable, I understand that, but people need to be involved. And scheduling meetings on topics of great concern to many people need to be done when people can engage. Hopefully the people that have gotten engaged these last few months will stay engaged and help drive things forward. That's how we got involved with ESE, because the issues we had, and now we're here every month advocating for ESE students across the district. People call me all the time and email me all the time. So we need to keep that engagement going, but the only way to do that is if those meetings are scheduled when people can be here. I understand it's inconvenient to be here at 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock multiple times a month, but it is for the people that are here speaking as well. So the other concern I have is the equity symposium. I got an email about that just yesterday from someone that was concerned, and I'm not going to go into details on what that is. I think a lot of people have talked about it, but what I got thinking about is there's been a lot of talk about justice and equity recently, not just in the school, nationwide. We need to look at this in a bigger picture. In our ESE kids, that's a group that has been pushed to the side, left out, and ignored far too long. They need that same level of equity, that same justice, because parents aren't out there advocating as much because they're home taking care of their kids, because it's exhausting. I know from experience, it's exhausting to do that. So they don't have a lot of groups out there that are pushing and garnering a lot of attention because they're home taking care of their kids. It's part of why my wife and I are here every month. We want to make sure that that vulnerable population of ESE kids gets the equity, gets the justice that they deserve and they're entitled to. Because with the right support, they can become successful, productive members of society. Without that support, many of them wind up as a statistic, and we can't have that. We're talking lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Next, we'll have Greg Sappett, followed by our final speaker for this evening, Heather Ashley.
Hello, I'm Greg Sapit. I have a son in Duval County. He's an ESE student as well. He's doing great there. I'd hate to have to pull him because this is like his 3rd school in a year. Might have to do that. God will repay each person according to what they have done, Romans 2:6. Stop putting your own personal gains and greed before the best interest of our children. We know you are, and we have all the proof needed to convict y'all in court. By bringing your own attorneys, in which we the people pay for, to delay the best interest of our children is unforgivable in this world. It's not up to me to judge, though. Your judgment day will be from God. We know everything, have everything, and the game is up. Stop now. No more LGBTQ plus sexualization of our innocent children. No more suffocation with masks. No more CRT. No more injection experiments on our kids. Mandates by a school board does not supersede the law. The jig is up. Stop wasting our money for your own pleasure. Stop using our children as pawns. This is yet another notice. Choose wisely on your upcoming votes. Now here is part of a song by my favorite rapper, Bryson Gray, called Chapter and Verse.
Thank you, Mr. Sappett. A final speaker for this evening is Heather Ashley.
My name is Heather Ashley, and Elizabeth Ellers is my youngest granddaughter's second grade teacher. She has, or exhibits, whatever you want to call it, selective mutism, where she chatters constantly at home around myself and her two brothers and her older sister, but she won't speak to anyone else. She's had many, many traumas in her little short life, and hence she's why her grandmother is raising her and her brothers and her sister. But Avery had just begun to speak to her kindergarten teacher when COVID hit. And I hate even saying that because I'm so tired of hearing about COVID, but, and I mean, just within a week or two had been talking to her teacher. COVID hit, all the kids were sent home. She's never again said another word to anybody at school. Not a teacher, not a friend, nobody. And she's not, I don't know how she passed kindergarten. I don't know how any of them passed the year that they were out, half of it. But her specifically, she was passed through kindergarten, and then last year, she's somehow passed first grade. I don't know if that was another, okay, well, let's just keep everybody rolling thing or what, but I have emailed the teacher, that I've emailed the principals, or her principal. The principal said that she emailed the Dr. Green, and I've never heard anything, anything back as far as having her put back into at least first grade. She has none of the skills that a second grader should have. Maybe part of that is my fault because I'm old and I'm raising four, children and don't have a lot of working full-time individual time to give to each one, but I just needed somebody to know that this child needs to go back before the school year gets any farther, and she winds up failing second grade and is old enough now to know and to see her, her friends going forward. Whereas if we just put her back now, I don't think it'll be as bad. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ashley. And it's not your fault. That's it.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Thank you all. We are on to comments from parent organizations. Is there anyone here from a parent organization who wishes to address the board this evening? see anyone here. Typically, at this time, we would have comments from a District Student Government Association, but Mr. Simmons did reach out and let me know that they were not available to meet or not able to meet this month, and I wanted to pass on what he said they were working on to the board. So he says they are working on some commercials about respecting the school environment, and they are also working on reviewing the student dress code. So I am glad to hear that our JAGS group continues to meet, and we miss them here tonight. Our next item of business are comments from employee organizations. I know we were able to hear from a couple of those groups during public comment, but is there anyone else here who wishes to speak? Okay. Seeing none, then we are on to the approval of minutes. That the Duval County School Board approve the minutes for the meetings listed in the agenda item. August 3rd, 2021, regular board meeting. September 21st, 2021, committee meeting. September 28th, 2021, board workshop. October 11th, 2021, special committee meeting. October 26th, 2021, special board meeting. I ask for a motion.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Vice Chairman Willie, seconded by Board Member Coker. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I call for your vote. Technical difficulties.
Board Member Joyce, can you register a hand vote?
Yes. By your action, you've approved these minutes 7-0. On to approval of the consent agenda. Are there any items to place on the consent agenda or items for discussion this evening?
I have a question.
Board Member Pearson?
Is the board member travel item part of the consent agenda, or will we handle that separately?
It's a separate item.
Okay.
I ask for a motion on consent.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Board Member Jones, seconded by Vice Chairman Willie. Is there any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, I call for your vote. By your action, you've approved the consent agenda this evening, 7-0. We have no items for discussion, so we will move on to public hearing. Dr. Green, would you please read your recommendation for school choice and pupil assignments?
Number one, that the Duval County School Board conduct a public hearing on the proposed boundary changes to the existing student attendance area zones for school number 274, Westview K-8, school number 255, Enterprise Learning Academy, and school number 216, Charter Academy. And two, that the Duval County School Board, following the public hearing, approve the recommended boundary changes to the attendance area zones for school number 274, Westview K-8, school number 255, Enterprise Learning Academy, and school number 216, Charter Academy, for the 22-23 fiscal school year.
Thank you. The public hearing is now open. Is there anyone here tonight that wishes to speak to this item? Seeing no one, the public hearing is now closed. I ask for a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Board Member Jones, seconded by Vice Chairman Willie. Are there any board members wishing to speak to this item? Seeing none, I call for your vote. By your action, you have approved this item 7-0. On to our next public hearing and vote, relocation of school number 95, Rutledge Pearson Elementary School, to school number 220, Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary, where two schools will temporarily co-locate for the 22-23 fiscal school year, and for the boundary consolidations of the existing student attendance area zones of Pearson and King. Dr. Green, would you please read your recommendation?
Number one, that the Duval County School Board conduct a public hearing and vote on the proposed temporary relocation of School 95, Rutledge H. Pearson Elementary School, to school number 220, Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School, where the two schools will temporarily co-locate for the 22-23 fiscal school year. And number two, that the Duval County School Board for the 2023-2024 fiscal school year consolidate the existing student attendance area zones of Rutledge H. Pearson Elementary, number 95 Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School, number 220, and Henry F. Kite Elementary School, number 37. Number three, that the Duval County School Board, following the public hearing, approve the recommended temporary relocation of School 95, Rutledge H. Pearson Elementary School, to school number 220, Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School, where the two schools will temporarily co-locate for the 22-23 fiscal school year and the 23-24 boundary. Consolidations, excuse me, need to keep going. Consolidations of the attendance area zones of Rutledge H. Pearson Elementary, number 95, Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary, school number 220, and Henry F. Kite Elementary, school number 37.
Thank you, Dr. Green. Public hearing is now open. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak to this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Board Member Jones, seconded by Board Member Coker. Are there any board members wishing to speak to this particular item? Board Member Jones.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to again thank staff for their work. This is kind of a puzzle, putting together a puzzle, and, and they've done an outstanding job. And I just want to thank them for their presentations to the community. And I think the reason you don't have any speakers is because they answer those questions at those community meetings, both at Rutledge Pearson, and it's going to be great for those kids who live in that community to have a brand new school in the coming year. And I just want to thank the staff, and thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Jones. Vice Chairman Willie.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate for folks in that area, 2023, there will be a brand new school, and that's something that we just have not seen in a while, especially in that community. But we also want to let the community know too. I know Board Member Jones and I have talked about just making sure that the community is very well aware of all the steps that are taking place, because there is a lot of changes with the movement, and we want to be very clear about it. So we're going to make sure we go out in the community, as well as working with our city council folks that overlap to make sure that communication is there. But once again, as Board Member Jones said, this is a huge moment for us, and we're very excited to see this come to fruition. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Any other board members wishing to speak? Seeing none, I call for your vote. By your action, you've approved the item 7-0. Our next public hearing and vote, more boundary changes. Dr. Green, please read your recommendation.
Number one, that the Duval County School Board conduct a public hearing on the proposed modification changes to the existing student attendance area zones for school number 230, Beauclair Elementary, and 222 Greenfield Elementary. And number two, that the Duval County School Board, following the public hearing, approve the recommended boundary modifications to the existing attendance area zones for school number 230, Beauclair Elementary, and 222 Greenfield Elementary for the 22-23 fiscal school year.
Thank you, Dr. Green. The public hearing is now open. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak to this item? Seeing no one, the public hearing is now closed. Are there any board members wishing to speak? Oh, excuse me. First, I need a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Board Member Jones and seconded by Vice Chairman Willie. Are there any board members wishing to speak on this item? Okay, seeing none, I call for your vote. By your action, you have approved the item 7-0. We are on to public hearing and vote for revisions to Chapter 8 Board Policies. Dr. Green, please read the recommendation.
That the Duval County School Board conduct a public hearing and adopt the recommended revisions to the following policies in School Board Manual, Chapter 8. Number one, Policy 8.22, involuntary mental health assessment of minors. Number two, Policy 8.53, consolidation impact review process.
Thank you, Dr. Green. Public hearing is now open. Is there anyone here wishing to speak to Policy 8.22 or 8.53? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Board Member Coker, seconded by Board Member Jones. Is there any board members wishing to speak to Chapter 8? Okay, seeing none, I call for your vote. By your action, you have approved revisions to Chapter 8 Board Policies 7-0. Our next public hearing and vote this evening is revisions to Chapter 9 Board Policies. Dr. Green?
That the Duval County School Board conduct a public hearing and adopt the recommended revisions to the following policies in School Board Manual, Chapter 9. Number one, Policy 9.63, School Volunteers Screening Process. Number two, Policy 9.65, Background Screening for Contractors. Number three, Policy 9.66, Sales Tax Oversight Committee.
Thank you, Dr. Green. Public hearing is now opened. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak to Chapter 9 Board Policies? Please.
So Cindy Young's here, just to kind of keep everybody honest. Maybe I don't understand how this works again, but it just, when I see something that feels deceptive, I just kind of want to point it out so everybody knows what's going on, because being new to this, I've learned new things every week. So on the recommendation, it talks about Policy 9.65, background screening for contractors. Under the description, it talks about what that entails, I think. background screening for contractors is proposed to be amended to provide that fingerprint results of contractual personnel are retained and accessible through the Florida Department of Law Enforcement's maintained Florida Shared School Results Database. I just don't think that's a fair representation of what's being voted on, so I just want to be clear for other people who maybe don't know how to do the research into the packets. And that's to say that that statement is made, and maybe it's a mistake. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe it's a mistake. But it seems that there's a whole nother new section regarding exemptions. So those are people that I guess are exempted from going through the background screening process. And while I agree with everything that's mentioned in that section, basically kind of stating, well, we'll go through it. The following non-instructional contractors shall be exempt from the screening requirements of Section 2 above. Non-instructional contractors who are under the direct supervision of a school district employee or contractor who has had a criminal history check and meets the screening requirements. Non-instructional contractors who are required by law to undergo a Level 2 background screening. Law enforcement officers, an employee or medical director of an ambulance provider. Non-instructional contractors who remain at a site where students are not permitted if the site is separated from the remainder of the school grounds by a single chain link fence of 6 feet in height. A non-instructional contractor who provides pickup or delivery services and those services involving brief visits on school grounds. An investigator for the Florida High School Athletic Association who meets the requirements under section. And a non-instructional contractor who is exempt from the screening requirements set forth above is subject to a search of his or her name and or identifying information against the registration information regarding sexual predators and sexual offenders maintained by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement and the National Sex Offender Public Registry maintained by the United States Department of Justice at no charge or fee to the contractor. So again, I appreciate all of the work that you're doing here. I appreciate you keeping our kids safe while we're having this work going on at our schools, and just in an effort to make sure that everyone's aware of what we're really voting on, or what's being passed. I just thought it was important to point out that there is a whole new section regarding exemptions, not just where we're going to record the fingerprints. So that's all I really wanted to add tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Youngs. Anyone else here wishing to speak to the item? Seeing no one, public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Chairman Willie.
Second.
Seconded by Board Member Jones. Are there any board members wishing to speak to Chapter 9 policies? Okay. Seeing none, I call for your vote. By your action, you have approved the revisions to Chapter 9 board policies 7-0. We are now on to board member travel. That the Duval County School Board approve and confirm the travel listed below for official business of the district, and that it complies with the rules of the State Board of Education. January 21st through 26th, 2022, Washington, D.C., NSBA Equity Symposium and Advocacy Institute. Board Member Pearson. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak to this item? Mr. Miller.
Hello, my name is Tim Miller. Board travel is normally something I don't really look at a whole lot on the agenda. But like I said, I got an email about this the other day that I talked about a little bit earlier. I do have a couple questions when I started going through it. I looked on the website, and this looked like a one-day conference, January 22nd. On the agenda, it's saying the 21st through 26th. So I'm not sure where that discrepancy is. Is it a week-long conference, or is it a one-day conference? The registration on the agenda item is $820. On the website, it's listed as $225. The hotel is listed as $1,638, which if it's a week-long conference makes perfect sense. If it's a one-day conference, that's looking at staying in a suite for a couple days, because I looked up the prices. And there's also mileage of $399 and airfare of $177. So why are both of those on there? Again, I'm just questioning the numbers because they don't seem to add up for what the website says is a one-day conference, but the agenda says it's a week-long conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Ms. DeCipio.
Hi, Debbie DeCipio. I don't have those specifics in front of me, but last year, you, as a board, felt the need to raise our taxes by a half cent because you didn't have enough money to do the things that need to be done, and now you want to go spend money to travel for something that really doesn't build community, and it doesn't build a relationship between people that's healthy. It's divisive. And again, as someone pointed out, there's enough things on your website that you can look at and that you can study. You don't need to go anywhere to learn divisive material.
Thank you, Ms. DeCipio. Ms. Dreyer.
Thank you. My name is Natalie Dreyer. Just wanted to also add to the conversation of the NSBA has certainly created a lot of destructive conversation and destruction of community, I think, with what they've labeled parents as and their preemptive and unnecessary efforts and what they've done. And so it just feels wrong to support anything that they're doing, especially if we're also, I believe the Florida School Board Association chapter has not renewed their dues to the NSBA. So again, it just doesn't feel like it really aligns with what should be done. So with that, I would hope that this item is also reconsidered. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dreyer. Ms. Youngs.
Hi, Cindy Youngs again. In an effort of full transparency, I just wanted to point out that on the agenda on the website today, it lists board member travel and then subheading board member travel like we were talking about it tonight. On the agenda posted out front this evening for everybody attending and wanting to have a turn to talk, it's been changed. It just says board member travel with no subheading. So I feel bad because I feel like I advised someone that y'all weren't talking about that tonight. So to that person, I apologize. And I'm curious what, again, just trying to understand how all this works so that we can all be informed, because that feels weird. The other thing I'd like to say is that we changed the agenda item to have just one person going instead of 5. So I just wonder why we didn't change the, or maybe you did, and it's just what I have is old, the total amount we're asking for approval tonight. If just one board member is going, then it would only be the $3,034 and not the $15,000. And that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Youngs. Anyone else here wishing to speak to this item? Okay. Is there a motion? Moved by Board Member Jones.
Second.
Seconded by Board Member Coker. And now there's ample opportunity for board members to speak. Board Member Pearson, I know that you had asked about this during consent.
Yes, thank you. So the item is actually incorrect. I am not signed up to go to the Equity Symposium and never have been signed up for the Equity Symposium. I'm only signed up to go to the Advocacy Institute. And I explained this to a constituent earlier today, that we have this part of our job that you see, we have the constituent relations part that you see, we have our school, and I say often that I consider my 22 schools my clients. So I have that part, and then we also have committee assignments. And one of my committee assignments is to be the advocacy liaison from this board to the FSBA. So in my activity, I've already been to Kissimmee, Florida, the exotic location of Kissimmee, Florida, to work with the FSBA advocacy and legislative committees to help develop our FSBA platform that we will use to lobby our state legislature, and then also our federal platform that we will use to lobby our representatives and senators in Washington, D.C. So those have already been discussed and set and voted on by the membership of the FSBA. And I wish that I had pulled them, but I've provided them to the board and can somehow make them public if people want to see what they are. But just off the top of my head, I do remember one of the things on the federal is stuff like expanding broadband coverage so that nationally there's equal access if students need to go online or choose to do virtual education. It's that kind of stuff. And then so we set those two platforms at the meeting in Kissimmee and have been refining those. I came back to our local Duval County School Board and led the discussion and coming up with our Duval County, a DCPS or Duval County School Board platform that we will use as a board to lobby our legislators in Tallahassee. And I can give you an example of what's on that is creating a grant program to expand new CTE programs or to establish new CTE programs or to expand existing CTE programs. So directly related to students on that. And so that's what we've been working on so far. The Advocacy Institute, I am a new board member. By the next meeting, will have been on a year. So the Advocacy Institute is an opportunity for me to get professional development in the area of advocacy, which is something that I'm very interested in and love doing on behalf of not only this board, but our students and our community. And I did that as a parent, an engaged parent, traveling to Tallahassee on my own multiple times before even running for school board. And an example of some of the things that come up that we work on, last year there were proposed changes to the Bright Futures Scholarship Program, and we were able to, with the help of the community throughout the state of Florida, prevent some changes that would have been pretty harmful to students who are depending on Bright Futures. So those are the kinds of things that we're working on. So the Advocacy Institute is sponsored by NSBA, and they will provide the opportunity and some of the programming, but the platforms that I will be going and talking to people have been established by the Florida School Board Association. And so those were locally devised by Florida members. And I will be working with Florida members to talk to Florida House and Senate offices to try to be a representative not only for this board, but for our state's interest in Washington, D.C. And that's why I'm going. If this would be my first year going, if I do not think it's worth the time or the money to go in the future, I will evaluate that after I come back. I am a pretty frugal person, and so I do not want to waste anybody's money. But that is why I kept my name on the travel. This is in the capacity of me being our advocacy liaison, and it is for the advocacy part that I am going to Washington.
Thank you, Board Member Pearson. Board Member Hershey.
It is unfortunate to me that NSBA and the current interim president took the action that they took with that letter. I have attended the NSBA conference in the past. I think the last time I went was in 2018. And what I want you to know is it's quite a powerful experience because you have school board members from around the country. And believe it or not, many of the issues that face us here in Duval County face somebody in Wisconsin or in Maine or in Alaska. And the ability to talk with other board members, to brainstorm and know what are their best practices, how are they working with their community to tackle some of the tough issues. that networking is invaluable. And the ideas that you come back with is beneficial to the community as a whole. So I just say that as someone who has attended this conference before, it is of great value. Right now, just to kind of give an update, FSBA did write a letter of response to the National School Board Association, and it was the decision at the Board of Directors meeting, I think it was the end of September, that at that time we would send a letter, wait for a response, because we didn't want to just withdraw from the National School Board Association, because we wanted to make a difference, and we wanted to force change in leadership. It's my understanding, as of very recently, that the Board of Directors, which I am on for the Florida School Board Association, is going to consider withdrawing membership from the National School Board Association coming up in December. So I just want to put that out there. And it's been brought to my attention that 24 states, school board associations from 24 respective states are considering to do the same thing. And while on the one hand, that is showing support for parental input, there are things that can be done at a national level when you work together. So for me, I just want to share that it's kind of bittersweet. I realize not everyone might understand that, but it is quite an impactful day to be in DC, have access to federal leaders. At 1 year, we even had an opportunity to be in the Department of Education and to meet with leaders there and get vision for public education across the country. So I just want to share that I understand and appreciate the comments of tonight, but as someone who has attended in the past, there is great benefit of being a collective voice and trying to move education forward, not only at a local level, but at a national level as well, and the ability to meet with our state senators and state representatives who are directly impacted here in Jacksonville, but then as well as throughout the state. 1 year we were able to meet with Senator Rubio. It's quite a benefit to be able to have that direct contact and to be able to explain how public education impacts the state of Florida. So I just wanted to put that out there, and I will say that I would support Ms. Pearson attending this event at this particular time.
Thank you, Board Member Hershey. Board Member Joyce.
Yeah, I really appreciate this commentary, and I see the passion and why you would want to go. I don't ever remember seeing a no vote on travel, and my vote is not offered as a criticism to any board members' pursuit of educational opportunities to help us do a better job. But because the NSBA has framed their criticisms of parents exercising their right to be heard by their elected representatives in such hostile and inflammatory terms, I will offer what is probably a symbolic no vote to express my rejection of their organization and statements.
Thank you, Board Member Joyce. Board Member Jones, did you have a comment?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. As Board Member Hershey pointed out, the work that you do for students is invaluable. The contacts you make, the ability to meet with, and I think what Board Member Hershey meant, U.S. senators, not state senators.
Yeah, well,
but and our Congress members, we meet with them and explain to them many of the issues that we face every day. One issue we talked about NSBA and Florida FSBA been active in is full funding for IDEA. We have not gotten full funding. We need that. Mr. Miller and his wife is here almost every meeting. And sure, we don't have full funding yet, and that was a mandate, and we don't have that. We advocate for those kind of issues that benefit. We have a very diverse school district, and we advocate for those students. And it's a lot of work, and you need all the partners you can get to get the work done. And it's just regrettable that they've taken that position. Here, this board has never shied away from having public input. We have policies in place that require parent participation before the superintendent can even make a recommendation to the board. So we've always been forthcoming. That was here long before we got on the board. Some of the, like the dress code, you know, that policy is shaped by students and parents and teachers. And that recommendation is made to the superintendent, then it comes to the board. So we have parent participation. We encourage it. We want it. We need it. And we support parent participation. That is not an issue with this board. And I just want to say that for the record. I mean, there are a few outliers, but the 1% who, you know, disrupt a meeting, and that's just it, just 1%. The vast majority of the people that we hear from each time we meet, whether it's in workshop or a board meeting, are very polite and courteous and civil, and you appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Jones. Board Member Coker.
Through the chair, I just really applaud Board Member Pearson stepping up. In this moment, it would be very easy not to go, given all the conversation that's gone on. But instead, you're putting our children first. You're going to go advocate. I think we're uniquely positioned because prior to our work on your work on the board, us going on the board a little over a year ago, or a little under a year ago, you had done this as a parent. You were well known in the community for going to Tallahassee, meeting with legislators, meeting with their office staff. You are well known for advocacy as a parent. And I just think when you look at the board and the history of the board and legislative liaisons, you've come in and you've run 150 miles an hour because of your background as a parent advocate. And I believe we're uniquely positioned with you going to DC to get some work done. And so I just want to say that I appreciate your willingness to do this.
Thank you, Board Member Coker. Vice Chairman Willie.
Yeah, I think one of our main goals, and I'm mine personally, and I know as a board, is for us to get better every day. And I think that's why we do professional development, just like our teachers do professional development, our staff does professional development. This is opportunity for us to lift our head up outside of Duval County and really get some best practices and understand. And I get the fact that NSBA, really a small group of folks in NSBA, produced something that the rest of the body didn't even realize that they pushed out. And it really was connected to the people with threats and violence. And if you're not making threats or doing violence, then that doesn't relate to you. And I think that we have to make sure that we're doing our part, especially when it comes to this whole notion of equity. Because at the end of the day, we are in a district right now where we have disparities that cross the line of poverty and race and all these different intersections. So we have to figure out how do we get better with that. And I know our superintendent, our staff do an amazing job, but we also have other communities who are doing great jobs as well. So we need to go and learn from them and bring those ideas back. That's what we do when we go to these conferences. That's the whole point. And I'm glad that you're going. I'm glad that we have a representative going. And I know that we are different. Duval County is different. People approach me all the time and they say, well, wow, are your meetings like the ones that I'm hearing about? Actually, ours are, they're vibrant, but we're not getting folks saying that we're violent or any of those sorts of pieces. So we're having great dialogue and we're listening. So at the end of the day, I think it's important that we try to get better every day, and we're going to continue to do that because those are the things we need to do as a board to make sure we go. So I'm glad you're going and pushing forward as our advocate and continue to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Willie. I do want to take a moment to just kind of talk through some logistics. I know we've had some folks just kind of say, what, can you explain this to me? So a couple of things first off the top, and I know this board has asked. We paid our dues to NSBA. We approved that item on the consent agenda back in May. The dues to NSBA are $12,975. So this year's dues have been paid. As a matter of dues moving forward, I think that that's certainly a conversation that we may continue to have if NSBA continues to be a viable organization. And for me, in my conversations with state leaders, that has been a concern, not because of this, but because of things that have been going on kind of within that need to improve. And I think as a state, and we've tried to be there to help support NSBA through, because the national network of school boards is so important to the work that we do in public education, to be able to come together and continue to promote opportunities for students to access free and public education for our communities. I do want to point out that the NSBA did retract or issue, maybe not a retraction, but issue an apology where they said that they regret and apologize for the letter, and they said, to be clear, the safety of school board members and other public school officials and students is our top priority, and there remains important work to be done on this issue. However, there was no justification for some of the language included in the letter. I think that that's similar to what we are saying here tonight. It was an ill-advised response, and we are sorry that it has been disruptive to this community, where we feel that even though there is passionate dialogue and we disagree, we still welcome your participation and your input. There is a difference between the Equity Institute and the Advocacy Symposium. So what you're seeing on the dates, the Advocacy Institute is scheduled the 23rd through the 25th, and the Equity Symposium would be scheduled on the 22nd. In order to accommodate those travel dates, you see that on our agenda item as the 21st through the 26th. We typically travel in the night before, stay in a hotel because we have early morning arrival times. I also want to make sure that it's clear that the travel item here covers all costs associated with the entire week or the conference for any board member that would be going. And sometimes we don't use those amounts. So if we don't use those dollar amounts, then those come back to the board. But we want to try to make sure that in our items and in what we approve, we've sufficiently covered ourselves to pay for the necessary expenses of traveling for this professional development and conferences, whether it's this item or any. If you are interested in learning more about the Florida platform, as Board Member Pearson was suggesting, you can go to fsba.org, which is the Florida School Boards Association, and locate platforms there for the state and for the state's state platform and federal platform. This item was amended. There were originally several of us scheduled to attend, and I think for a variety of reasons, which may or may not be reflected in our comments here tonight, we have withdrawn. And so the only board member that remains is Board Member Pearson, and I do want to offer my appreciation as well. That does change the cost or the financial impact associated with the item. The original cost was estimated at around $15,000 with the removal of the other board members pulling out of the conference. That does bring the total down to about $3,000, $3,034 is what's reflected on the item now, which would include all possible expenditures associated with the entire time period, even though Board Member Pearson has indicated she will not attend the Equity Symposium. I think that covers all of the rest of the logistical items and how this works for you all. And if there is no further discussion, then we will vote.
Do I vote on this?
By your action, you have approved board member travel 6-1. All right, there is no superintendent travel, so we don't need to belabor that conversation. Thanks for sticking around, Dr. Green. And so then we are on to For the Record. And I am happy to go around. Board Member Coker is making eye contact, so.
Apparently, I'm making eye contact.
You go first.
Then I'll go. First, I want to thank Fort Caroline Middle School's Advisory Council. They recently had me at their meeting, in particular, Mr. Tukes, who is the School Advisory Council Chair. You know Mr. Tukes. You know that shortly behind him, probably telling him what to do, is Mrs. Tukes. But they were wonderful in having me at the meeting. I will say Huge thank you to Dr. Green, and that we will be doing a groundbreaking for the new auditorium there. This is a school that was made a school of the arts a number of years ago, several superintendents ago, and has never had the right facilities to offer the programs that they should offer. And so I just thank you for making all of this happen. This is going to be an incredible gift to the Arlington community. I want to also, I'm going to get way ahead, a month ahead of things. On December 1st, the high school acceleration program application opens. I want to say to anyone, see Ms. Peak's looking at me like, yay, she's saying something. 8th grade students out there, parents of 8th grade students, you should be going on duvalschools.org to the high school acceleration program site, because we have new acceleration programs coming online this year. Terry Parker is going to recruit for the first time for an early college program, and I am beyond thrilled. I'm looking over at our chief of schools, Mr. Snyder, who used to be the principal at Parker, who has been advocating for this for years. And we are thrilled. And Mr. Wright, thank you to your team for having the community meetings. So to any 8th graders out there that are interested, Terry Parker is going to be open for business. We want to see your application. So I'm jumping ahead in the recruiting at this point. I want to thank JPEF for the recent Ed Talks. I want to thank the Chartrand family for bringing Mr. Glaude here. That was an incredible event that prompted a lot of incredibly inspiring and lifting dialogue. And so I just want to give a shout out to Rachel Tutwiler Fortune, Coretta Hill, and all of the JPEF team for bringing so many community leaders together for such critical conversation. And then finally, a thank you to Board Chair Elizabeth Anderson. As you finish your last meeting, you certainly rounded out all the things that went on, 5-year strategic plan, renaming of schools, the starting of all the building for the referendum, the pandemic. It has not been an easy year, and I just, as a newly elected board member, I know it wasn't easy. I know I didn't always contribute to making it easy. We have gone toe-to-toe from time to time. But thank you for your, thank you for your willingness to have led this last year in such a unique time. We appreciate you.
I appreciate that. All right, Board Member Hershey, while I'm looking this way.
Thank you. Twin Lakes Elementary hosted a farm share event last month and fed over 400 families. The most impressive thing to me about this event was that the volunteers were predominantly students from Twin Lakes Academy Elementary, as well as from Twin Lakes Academy Middle School and also Atlantic Coast. Of course, there were parents and some other community volunteers, but we had over 50 volunteers. It was a great event, and being able to care for 400 families in the community was a great day. Wanted to let you know, Loretto Elementary Sunday from 2 to 4 will be having a Sunday fun day. However, you need to bring your own snacks and water, but come and spend time getting to know families at Loretto, getting to know your principal better. It should be a fun afternoon, and I hope to see you there. Also would like to thank Chief Burton for joining me at the town hall meeting with Councilman Boylan. He came back from his trip, picked his son up from football practice to join me to talk about traffic at Mandarin High School. And Dr. Green, I don't know if you've gotten the emails that I have gotten this week, but I've gotten nice and good emails about traffic at Mandarin High School, so that's like two days down. We're only 2 days. So hopefully it's going to continue. We just need that for the rest of the year. But want to thank the work that Chief Burton and Dr. Green has done with JSO to address the traffic and safety concerns there. So 2 days down out of the whole school year, we're headed in the right direction. And I will wrap up by acknowledging that in as much fun as it is to be chair, it's also nice to not be chair. So you adjust very quickly, Chair Anderson, and you will probably sleep better and feel a big weight off your shoulders. So I know tonight, not to use the word bittersweet again, might be kind of bittersweet, but believe me, in a month or two, you'll be feeling pretty refreshed. But I hope that this experience has been a positive one for you.
Thank you, Board Member Bashir. Board Member Coker. Excuse me, Joyce. Oh, look, I was going down the line.
I want to just go on the record and saying thank you for your chairmanship this year. I know from watching, it's not an easy job, and the amount of effort and work that you put into it is evident and it's obvious. I do want to commend you on, the organization of this board and the policies that we've talked about, and, just making sure that we're addressing what we need to address every single month. And I think that you've really done a fabulous job with that. So I just wanted to say, I know this was a sacrifice for you and your family because it's a hard job to do, but thank you for the work that you put in for us this year.
Thank you, Board Member Joyce. Anything else? We'll come down here, then Board Member Jones.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I, too, want to echo those comments. Board Member Hershey and I can really relate. We have the scars to prove it, and we've been there and done that. And it's not easy. You faced it with a lot of courage and dignity and respect for all those who appear before this board. And we really appreciate your advocacy for students, your love for mental health. It came through. I mean, we butted heads a couple of times on your policy changes, but it was, we really appreciate what you've done for this school district, and especially for our students, and thank you very much. I didn't get the T-shirt, nor did I get the face mask for Board Member Willett to wear today, because I didn't ask for this, but he did at the last meeting pledge to wear a T-shirt if Reebok happened to lose the Northwest Classic. It was well attended as usual, and as usual, for the 5th year in a row, rains prevail. And I will have, now as a side note, he did go to Georgia, I went to Florida. I'm glad we didn't bet on that one. So I'm glad we didn't bet on that one. I probably wouldn't have bet him on that one anyway. But anyway, I will make sure we get that T-shirt for you so you can wear it to one of the committee meetings since we missed it for the day.
Maybe the organizational meeting would be
Yeah, that would be good. And I also want to extend congratulations to Pickett Elementary for being selected the School of the Month for the month of October. VISTAR does a very good job in selecting the Schools
Community
of the
first.
Month.
Community
And-
first.
Huh? I'm sorry. Community First, and I'm a member, Community First, for selecting the School of the Month, and I really appreciate that. And the Ed Talks were very inspiring, and I think he challenged us to do better, and I appreciate that. And to JPEP and their staff, Ms. Tutwiler and all those people involved, they did an outstanding job, and it was well attended, and there was some social distances because we were not jammed up together. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Board Member Jones. Board Member Pearson.
Mine's going to be long, so just know that. First of all, thank you for your service, Board Chair Anderson, and thank you for your leadership. This is my first exposure to this, and it looks like a tough job, and I appreciate the effort and the sacrifice that you put into doing it and leading us through this most unusual year. I want to say also thank you to Wolfson, Inglewood, and Sandalwood High Schools for hosting me at their homecoming games. The highlight for me was seeing the Southside Middle School cheerleaders on the track with the Inglewood cheerleaders. Both squads were full of school spirit, but what I really appreciate is the intentionality of the administrators to visually show the connection of that neighborhood progression from Southside to Inglewood. And the fact that there was mentoring going on, and encouragement from the Inglewood cheerleaders to the Southside cheerleaders. I want to say good luck to the students participating in the Florida Bandmasters Marching Music Performance Assessment on Saturday evening. I will be there for part of it. It goes from, I think, 1:30 to 9, so I will commit to be there for part of it. And good luck to those who are there for all of it. Congratulations to Principal Teresa Dowdle Brown and her staff at Southside Estates Elementary for being the Community First Credit Union October School of the Month on that level. And now we get to my District 3 brag sheet, secondary school edition. So I sent out emails to my principals of secondary schools and asked them to give me their brags from this so far in the school year, and this is what they sent back to me. Alden Road Exceptional Student Center has placed 3 students as interns with the DCPS Certification Office and another one with Chartwells. And these internships provide real-world work experience for the students and help prepare them to join the workforce after leaving Alden Road. Julia Landon College Preparatory and Leadership Development, congratulations again to Riley Harris as the middle school winner for the Hispanic Heritage Month essay contest. And also good luck to the undefeated girls volleyball team playing Baldwin Middle at Mandarin Middle tomorrow night in a semifinal game, and a special good luck to my favorite girl on the back row. Alfred I. DuPont Middle School, congratulations to Principal Barnwell, AP Bill Gilly, and World Language team members Norez and Espinosa for being selected to present at the National Association for Bilingual Education Conference in February. So they will go and share the good things that are happening at Duval with other educators. Sandalwood High School, congratulations to their band. They received superior ratings in music, marching, general effect percussion, and drum major, and 4th place out of 22 bands at the Fleming Island competition last month. Also, they have All Gateway Conference athletes for boys golf, Jackson Sullivan, girls golf, Alexis Williams, boys swim and dive, Drew Sauls, and girls swim and dive, Taylor Graham. For Douglas Anderson School of the Arts, their Wind Symphony has been invited to perform at the College Band Directors National Association, National Band Association Southern Division Conference in February. Only 3 high school bands out of the 11 states in that southern region were invited to perform. And we know that DA is phenomenal, and this is just more verification of that. Samuel Wolfson School for Advanced Studies, congratulations to the 30 student clubs that hosted a successful trunk or treat on Friday night. More than 300 students from neighboring elementary schools attended, and that is this school is a dedicated magnet school, and it is their way of maintaining connection to the community schools around them, and that was all student-led and somewhat parent-financed to the tune of $40 worth of candy on my part. But in athletics, boys golf made it to regionals and had 1 golfer advance to state. Boys and girls cross country advanced to regionals, and boys and girls swim had 28 swimmers go to regionals and 13 going to state. Lastly, Inglewood High School. Congratulations to the Inglewood football team on its way to a 500 or better season. And this is significant because this has not happened at Inglewood in a while. And they were recognized in the news for the great growth of their program and the upward trajectory that they are on. And so congratulations to these athletes and their coaches for the hard work that is paying off.
Thank you, Board Member Pearson. Vice Chairman Willie.
Yes, I'll move us forward. First of all, just an amazing shout out to Community First School of the Month at Springfield Middle School. Principal Bush over there, amazing job that she does. I do want to acknowledge the Rains Revo Classic. it's just been not great for me the last 4 years. But I am committed. I did wear a maroonish tie, and I am committed to wearing the T-shirt. So I just didn't have one. I'm sorry, I didn't have it with me. We didn't win the game, but we did win a victory because Dr. Gregory Bostic is Principal of the Year. Fantastic work that he's done at that school, and he's just an amazing leader. In addition, I know this has been out a lot, but John Love Early Learning Center, we're going to be doing a ribbon cutting coming up this Saturday from 10 to noon. They're going to be doing tours. It is a STEAM-focused early education center, and it is amazing. I mentioned it last time. It will put joy in your hearts. If you're able to attend, come out. I'm inviting everyone under the sound of my voice. Also, that video from the beginning, Garden City and the painters, just another congratulations. That's just the little things, and I'm sure there are other things going on in our district that people don't see, so it's always great to highlight those pieces. Elizabeth Anderson, you have done an amazing job as chair. You wear your heart on your sleeve, both your pants, legs, all over. The passion is true, and I'll formally say some things, I guess, when the official, in the next meeting, because I think I'm supposed to have a gift or something for you, and even if I don't, I'm going to have one for you. And lastly, point of personal privilege, my 5-year-old is about to turn 6 in the middle of the month. She also has no 2 front teeth, but she just got named Student of the Month at her school, so shout outs to her and happy birthday to her as she takes that victory and wants a cupcake and some other stuff for her birthday. But thank you so much. That's it.
Thank you all. I want to say first, welcome. I wasn't here in October, so sorry I wasn't here, but I haven't had the opportunity to publicly welcome Principal Akonde over at Kernan Middle School. I have gotten so much great positive feedback from the community and from the parents, just so excited to welcome her there, so welcome. It was also great to be with Anchor Academy this past week. They were recognized by Community First as a School of the Month from September, but we got to do our celebration in October, and that was so fun to be there and get to see the little ones. It was their character parade day, and they the little kindergartners sang like a 5 Little Pumpkins song, and it was amazing. Captain Canfield and the team from Naval Station Mayport came over to celebrate with us, and it's always great to be with our folks from the base. So congratulations to them. I do want to acknowledge, and I don't know if anybody acknowledged this last time, but Office Depot did a rounded up thing and was able to really provide generous donation of funds to Timaquan Elementary School. And I just think that that's so cool, and the opportunity for our businesses to do something simple and say, hey, do you want to round it up? And then it turns into real, tangible resources for our students and our teachers. So I just want to acknowledge that. I was not here to talk about the chamber trip last time. I won't belabor that, but I just want to say thank you to the Jacks Chamber for a great trip. Thank you to the board for approving me to go, and I would highly recommend it because I think that there was a lot of really great opportunity for our business community to see the intersection in how our public school students and a foundation for academics translates into talent in our community and in our future workforce. And so it was a great opportunity to have some really important conversations with our business leaders and our business community, and I am grateful for the opportunity to have been a part of that. Thank you all. Thank you all. You did not have to say nice things, but I do appreciate that you were willing to say them. I have said many times over the course of this very challenging year that I'm so grateful to serve with each and every one of you. We have a really great board. There are boards across this state that are so dysfunctional. And so even at times when we go toe-to-toe, I'm happy to serve here with you all. Vice Chairman Willie, thank you for all of your support and assistance throughout the year. And I won't belabor it long. I do have a long word of wisdom, so I'll take my point of privilege here and share with you a quote from The Power of Positive Leadership that I do hope that the board is able to take with them, but also our community and our parents, that I just want to continue to say, let's keep walking together, because we will make this community better. We will make things better for our students and our teachers and our classrooms when we find the path together. So no matter what anyone says, just show up and do the work. If they praise you, show up and do the work. If they criticize you, show up and do the work. If no one even notices you, just show up and do the work. Just keep showing up, doing the work, and leading the way. Lead with passion. Fuel up with optimism. Have faith. Power up with love. Maintain hope. Be stubborn. Fight the good fight. Refuse to give up. Ignore the critics. Believe in the impossible. Show up. Do the work. You'll be glad you did. True grit leads to true success. So thank you all for working with me in this wonderful opportunity that I've been gifted. So thank you. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Board Member Joyce, seconded by Board Member Pearson. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
We now join our regularly scheduled program already in progress.
From Orlando,